What is up? It is Friday night, and you're here with the Average Boys Podcast. It's your boy Crispy, and I am here with my missing bro, Brian. What is up, my dude? How are we doing?
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Yes, it's your boy Brian D. Of course, here on a Friday evening with my boy Chris P to talk some nerd shit. Chris,
What is up?
what is up, my guy? What's going on, buddy?
It's been a fancy week, man. It's been good. Everything's been going pretty solid. We have some pretty good stuff. Of course, we have Black Adam come out.
Yeah.
You got to go check it out, which you're going to be talking about a little bit later, which is awesome. We have Halloween coming up. Next weekend, we have NanoCon. This weekend, we have a really cool event called Vendors Night this coming Sunday, which you've heard me talk about. And we do have the guys from The Collector on the show tonight, which we're going to be covering with them, talking some stuff about collecting and getting into all this aspect of creating a business and how they got started and all that good stuff. But I got to ask, Brian, how did your week go last week, man? Me and Mike took over last week, so I know you got to check it out. Shout out to Michael Betancourt, who went to class again. He's upstate. And what'd you think of the show last week?
Dude, I hit you on what is it?
On the BM.
DM, whatever. I was like, dude, I just listened to the episode. Great episode. And I was giving Mike his props. Thank you again, Mike, for filling in. I needed just a week to myself to regroup, and Mike stepped in. And I'm telling you, like, the way that he just articulates his words and his thoughts, it's just honestly, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Although I don't agree with a lot of your topics. We'll get to
we're gonna talk about that
a little bit of that later. But no, thank you, Mike, and you did a great job, man, as always.
And I must ask, on a personal note,
yes,
the idea of self-care and having that opportunity. I know how passionate you are about your podcasting. I know how passionate you are about being on the show and getting the opportunity to speak to everybody. But when you hit me up, you're like, man, I'm really sorry, but I got to take a me day. Yeah. And I was like, hey, dude, like, that's cool. Like, I don't really do that too much, but what was the importance of it for you? Like, how do you feel like that opportunity is? And what do you think is a positive thing that you can tell the listeners out there? Like, if they ever need that, to not be afraid to take a day, just ask and just get it. Like, what was the good thing and bad thing about it?
To be honest, I don't know too many of the bad things that come along with that per se, but honestly, I think everyone just needs to, like, if it's time for you to recharge, you should take that advantage. Like, you should be able to just regroup, center your chakras, whatever the fuck you got to do, and then tackle whatever is in front of you fresh and with the fresh set of eyes. And I think everybody should take advantage of that. Yeah.
Excellent. That's super good, man. Well, I'm happy that everything worked out really good. I'm happy you feel good. Happy you got a good day off, a good week off.
I appreciate
it. Good weekend, good day to recharge and hang out with people. You're back on the show, and I cannot wait to hear your opinions on, of course, She-Hulk and all the good stuff that's going on. I told Mike we'll bring him back on the show soon because I want to have a conversation about the Ring of Fire. I want to be able to talk about that show because I've been kind of watching it. I've been checking it out. Going in there very open-minded, and it has its ups and downs. But like
so is the season over, or is it like midway through? How many episodes are
the season finale? I believe just ended. The only show right now that I believe is still going on is Andor. Which I'm still checking out. I think you're watching it too, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen the
newest one.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid. It's been fun. I kind of feel like Andor is like the big brother to a lot of these shows because it's a lot more serious. There's a lot more going on, the political talks, and
I love it.
It's good. It's super good. I feel like it's like a breath of fresh air for Star Wars. I feel like it's necessary. So shout outs to everybody in the comment section. What's up to Rob? Facebook user. I don't know who that is yet, but we'll figure it out in a bit. They'll let us know by name. And
Rob, we are going to be a hive mind today because you and I both have our thoughts on the Black Adam movie. So
yeah, most
definitely. I'm glad that you're here.
Most def. Guys, I want to welcome in. We have two special guests on the show today. They're going to be talking to us about business. They're going to be talking to us about the adventure of being entrepreneurs, what it's like to run a business in the South Texas area, and what it's like to do cons and conventions and vending and all that good stuff. Guys, I want to give us a cool, solid welcome to the boys from The Collector, David and Fredrick. What are up, dudes? Let us know what's going on. How are you guys doing?
How's it going, guys? Thanks for the invite.
What's up?
Hey, thank you for coming on the show, big boy. What's going on? So what's going on, David? What's going on?
Nothing much. So we're just wrapping up the day. So again, we just want to talk about a little bit about the collection world of what's going on. So I guess introduction. So I'm David. This is Fred. We have a third partner, which is Fred's brother JJ, but he's unavailable at the moment. He has a
shout out to HEB.
Shout out to HEB. They have the third collector there.
Nice.
So yeah, we started off there. So just a little bit about the company. Fred, I guess you can start first because you technically started the company first.
Yeah, I've been collecting since around 2014. I started as like a small hobby. I would collect Marvel Legends, Hot Wheels, all that kind of stuff, and then I actually started vending in. I think it was a Collector Mania 3. It was when back then they were in the public libraries, the McAllen one. So that was the first show I did. And after that, I started just doing random shows. I did shows over there in Monte Cristo. I did a couple in Mission, and I got my brother involved, and then David joined me as well. So that's how we started our three-way here, the Collectors.
Good stuff. And I have to ask, I mean, if you guys own a business now based on the idea of collecting, that probably meant when you guys were a little bit younger, even before you opened up your establishment, you guys probably collected stuff based on your thing. What is your guys' poison for collection?
Right now, I'm tending just to get a bunch of, I'm starting with Funko Pops. Back then, it was, I would collect everything from Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, tassels, I don't know, little pongs.
Yeah, the pogs. That's bad. That's when you know you're old school, dude.
There you go.
So, but like now, like I'm strictly, I'm more on the Funko side. I know David's more of the comic. He has no knowledge of all that, so he's been dabbling more into comics. I stick to just Funkos.
David, what about you?
So for me, growing up, we didn't really have like a lot of money, a lot of opportunity. So I think I'm kind of rehashing that, when I was younger, I wanted this toy type of thing, I think I'm going through that phase. You'd see the kids with the fancy toys and you're there with, you're humble with what you got at the time, right? But now when you have that adult money, right? You ever see that meme where you have adult money, now you're just buying all the expensive stuff.
Of course. I'm the same way. I'm definitely the same way.
And Brian, what about you, man?
Dude, like for me, it's sneakers. That's my weakness. When I was growing up, like over here on the East Coast, sneakers were like the thing. Like you had to have Jordans, or you had to have the Barclays or whatever. So now that I'm older, I buy sneakers that I just couldn't get as a child. So like so I totally relate to what he's saying. 1000%.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
When I was young, I used to do collection. Of course, like when Spawn first came out, I was real hyped about when Angel Spawn first popped off, which was when Spawn got his angel wings, and I went in and I bought like the Todd McFarlane special, the box, like the first anniversary, or I forgot what it was, but I had like this big ass box with the angel wing one. And then I used to collect all the mistaked Dragon Ball Z toys from Mexico and stuff. The ones that were like, it would be like
the defective ones.
Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, even though he was never Super Saiyan 3.
It was never,
yeah, it was like super random, man. So what was real cool is like they used to have like purple haired like Vegeta or Goku with red, like a reddish tone in his hair. And that wasn't like a thing, like the God levels or whatever, like the Super Saiyan 4 gods and stuff. Or what is it, like the Super Saiyan God level, the one that they're doing right now, or Ultra Instinct. But like the toys, they used to kind of like, they used to show that shit off way back in the day as misprints.
Oh, no
that was
shit.
super fucking crazy. So that was really, really cool, man. Other than that, baseball cards, football cards.
Yeah,
I used to have like real weird as shit, dude. I'm a Texas boy, but like I had a bunch of rookie cards for the 49ers when Troy Aikman. No, Troy Aikman was in the Dallas Cowboys with Joe Montana.
There we go.
It was right before Steve Young took over. And when Joe Montana left the 49ers, I never watched football again in my whole life, dude.
Why not? I mean, he just went. It wasn't like he like quit football. He just went to Kansas City.
Yeah, he just went to Kansas. But like, I remember being one of those diehard fans that was like, yo, there's never going to be a connecting wide receiver and quarterback like Jerry Rice and Joe Montana. Like, there's no way. They're going to take it forever. And Joe Montana was like, oh, shit, $20 more extra on my paycheck? I got this. And just bounced and left everybody, and everything just went down the drain. Steve Young, I think, carried it to the –
That's what it was. You hit the nail on the head right there. I mean, the 49ers weren't scared of losing Joe Montana because they had – a future Hall of Famer as his backup. Yeah, so it was like they could afford to lose Joe Montana.
But still, I don't think they had a carry after that. I don't think they really went back to the.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
did.
maybe in the last
no.
maybe 5 years or 6 years.
Not
they
even.
made it
No,
to-
I think like within like the next 3 years, San Fran had Steve Young won a chip
Won a Super Bowl?
won a Super Bowl with Jerry Rice.
Oh wow, shit! I can't even remember that far back. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I just quit. I mean, it just broke my heart. Just broke my heart in the sport. Never went back. But
I get it.
But do you guys at the Collectors, do you guys deal with sports memorabilia like that, or are you guys
We have
specifically?
somewhat.
Okay, so you guys have like sports cards, and you guys deal with all different types of collections. Then
Yeah, we dabble with everything. I know last year we had a bunch of Joe Burrow since we went to Super Bowl. We had some autograph cards of him. We had some Justin Herberts. Basically, whatever's trending, that's what we tend to try to get be able to have like a variety of customers coming in.
I think
we'll go for Brian.
and I was gonna say, I know that the Justin Herbert, like some Panini card, that was like his big card at that point. I'm pretty sure that's the card you're talking about. Like that card is fucking amazing.
Dude, I have to ask, what's like the craziest piece of collection that's the most valuable thing that you guys are carrying like in a secret safe 20 miles buried under your business that like no one knows
24-hour
about. You know
lockdown.
you have it, yeah. Like just the Rock is just standing outside, like just watching the door, making sure no one gets in. Like, what is the most valuable piece of memorabilia that you guys have at the shop, or not at the shop, but in your yeah. I don't want to say the shop, and then
sound like a setup to me, yo. Sounds like a fucking
where do you
setup.
live? What's
yeah, exactly. Sounds like a setup.
And what is the combination? No, so what would be like the most valuable thing that you guys have that's like super like shit? I didn't know I was ever gonna own this shit.
Or maybe the most valuable one you've ever came in contact with.
Across, yeah.
How about you do the contact? I'll do my collection.
About maybe 2 years ago, we bought. It was one of the Dragon Ball Z's highest. I guess the rarest pop they have is Planet Aria Vegeta. It's a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive one that came out in 2013. We bought it for around $1,800, and
God damn,
that was that was back in like
that was a good day.
That was a wild ass day. Dude.
That was a good day.
Yeah, we sold it for we sold it a little bit too early. Like right now, that pop's worth around $4,000. We sold it before it hit that much.
Damn, that's crazy.
But yeah, man, we had stuff that ranges between $3,000 statues, $1,800 pops.
Wow.
$1,000 comic books, just a lot of different things. I have my Joe Burrow card sold for $3,000 on eBay. So it's a bunch of stuff like that, man, that keeps on coming in, and we keep getting here in the shop.
Definitely.
God damn. Fucking, can you imagine a $18?
Yo, let's go. Yo, dude, let's go directly into market against these guys. Like, cause that's crazy, bro. Like, that sounds like a fucking awesome day. Like, we gotta.
I can't imagine like your wife looks at your credit card stub and just sees like $18,000 or $1,800 bill and like, what the fuck is this? And you're like, there was this pop. Like, babe, there was this pop though. There was this pop. You're gonna want to see this. But goddamn,
I gotta let you know I am divorced, man.
I was gonna say, honestly, all right,
you know.
So listen, I want to ask you guys, and this is on a business aspect of everything. Do you guys have like a support system that like gets you through those rough months or rough weeks? You know, I know you guys sometimes, and we'll get into it about how people try to like sell you fakes and all that kind of stuff. Like, who keeps you guys getting up every morning and going into the shop and making sure you are having the best shop around?
Yeah, so definitely one of the goals that we have is, you know, obviously we started with the passion of collecting before anything. So coming into the company with Fred, we call it the collector because we like the challenge of, hey, I can never find this one piece of merch. You know, let's say, for example, I'm looking for this pop, the Spider-Man pop that came out in 2011. So it was kind of the thrill of the hunt to, you know, for customer satisfaction. You know, we got the customers to come back and forth. We did start in pop-up events like United Collectors Expo, South Texas Comic-Con, things like that. We did that before the shop. And, you know, customers were like, hey, you need a location, I'll come every day. And that was kind of the biggest factors that we wanted to help people complete their collections, you know, because I know sometimes, and an example is today, we had somebody buy the set of the Matrix pops, however, where we did not have Agent Smith in stock, but we do come across it. So he's like, hey, you know, you guys give me a good deal. Here's my number. Call me when you guys get it. You know, like, you know what, we got you when it comes in. the conditions right and it's a fair deal, we'll go ahead and message you. We'll get you that set complete.
Awesome.
Okay, badass. And I have to ask, like, when it comes to the rarity of certain items, like, what's the community like when it comes to bartering for certain things? Like you said, someone came in looking for a series for the Matrix, and let's say you have 80% of that series, and you don't have like the one or two pops. Is there certain stores that you call or certain friends that you met across the line, or is the community of people that you work with in the area, do they collaborate with you guys a lot, or is it kind of like a do or die fucking crab mentality?
Right,
Like,
crab in a
luck,
bucket.
motherfucker, kind of thing, you know what I mean?
We do have constant communication with the shops nearby. I know we have like around here in Edinburgh, there's at least 8 shops around.
Jeez.
So we do contact between different shops that might have items that we don't have in stock. And we let them know, hey man, like, you know what, we might not have it, but be sure to check out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They might have it, or some of the shops tend to have communication. So I'll just call one of the other guys and be like, hey man, you have this in stock? If you do, let me know, and I can send you a customer that way. So it's we kind of have that mentality that everybody grows together. It's not there's different collectors for everybody. So it's not about the whole being selfish part of you know what, now I'm gonna find it, I'm gonna get the profit. If you could help somebody else out. I think that's kind of like the better thing.
So that's kind of cool to know, man. I would assume that everybody would be like every other goddamn community, that they're like, good luck. Yeah, I got a pop. I'll sell it to you, but for the same price as all other
3x
pops and shit.
Yeah, 3x time.
Yeah, fucking 3 times the fucking price of the goddamn pop. Good shit. Well, okay. So on to the next part of the conversation. I have to ask you guys, through and through, you've had this business since what, 2015? You said?
We got our official license 2016. So we got
2016.
our LLC on 2016, but I was doing it since like 2014.
So like what pushed you guys into the direction of creating a business based on the idea of collecting, and what pushed you in that pathway to where you are now?
What made us like actually start the business more was the community. Every time we would do pop-up events, they would always tell us, hey, you guys should get a physical location. We'll support you. We'll go visit you guys, because all the times, like how David said earlier, we would just do pop-up shows. We'll just every month, every other month, every 2 months, we'll go do a show. That's it. And go home, put the stuff back in storage, and then wait until another 2-3 months until we get to another show. And just the community kind of pushed us to open up our own physical location.
Dave, is it pretty much the same thing for you?
Yeah, so like pretty much when we started, I know Fred started doing pop-up events, and I was able to go to one event. What was Leo's shop, right?
Yeah, Leo's Mission.
MGM. They did a small show there, and I remember teasing Fred because we had worked together at Walmart. I telling Fred, "There's no way you make money there. Like, who's gonna spend that much on collectibles? Like, honestly, right?" I went with Fred just one day on the Saturday. I think we made like $300, right? $200. We made maybe like $300. And I told Fred, hey, you know, Fred, like, because my mentality of making money, I told Fred I could like double this money, bro, like easily. And then we just came up with a plan. We executed on the next show, tripled the money. And then from there, we're like, hey, I think we're actually onto something. You know, we have the customer demand for it. We have the availability of the product. We have great prices compared to the competition. You know, let's roll with it. Let's do something. And he had talked about getting the LLC. And that's when I jumped on board with him and his brother.
Good shit.
That honestly, that sounds like a match made in heaven. Like that sounds like a lot of hard work on everyone's part coming together at the right time and making it work for you guys. Like that sounds amazing.
Are you like kind of like when it comes to like your business, like entrepreneurship and all that stuff, are you guys like super about like the Gary V or listening to like the Goggins, what's his Jason Goggins guy, and like all these things? Know me, like, son. Yeah, man. You don't know that's running. You don't know me, son. Jason Goggins is just running. He's like, look, motherfuckers, you gotta get up off your asses and just run and all this shit. It's like, fucking guys, are you kind of like one of those people that watches videos and tries to get like more knowledge based on that? Or are you like a do or die, just do it on your own, kind of make the mistakes and learn from them kind of guy?
So me personally, I'm a little bit of both. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I do listen to a lot of Gary V. You know, right now I'm currently reading like the 48 Laws of Power, John Maxwell 21 Leadership Rules. So personally, you know, with what I do at work, it kind of ties into what we're doing. I just like to, you know, obviously whatever you do, you invest your time, you want to be the best, right? I mean, regardless of the fact. I'm not saying I want to not saying I'm there to cream the competition. You know, I want to take out. You know,
Nah. First off, we don't do that on the show. All right. You talk your shit on this show. Yo. We want to demolish the competition. All those other 8 shops out there, you guys have nothing on us. Tell them.
You guys got to answer to us.
Yes. You got to go through us. You got to go through us. Nah, I'm joking.
Like I said before, there's enough people to buy from everybody, but you can buy from me first.
We don't do that here. All right. We don't do that.
We just say if you want the right price, you can come to us. If you want to check out the competition, I mean, it's all the powers.
You're lost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right. He's like, if you want to go to the competition, that's fine. You're lost.
I mean, go ahead. I mean, but you know what?
Go ahead.
You're here for a reason. You're here for a reason.
I didn't hear him say your money's no good there. Your money's good here, though.
I'm just saying.
So what, like, out of all the stuff that you listen to, like the Gary Vee and all that stuff, what resonates in your mind when it comes to running your business?
For me, just going to be basically, you know, like the Eric Thomas speech when it comes to being as successful as you want to breathe. You know, that was one of his major videos that went viral first before he became a motivational speaker and an icon for that. So, you know, he just talks about wanting to be so successful, like taking your last breath, you know, kind of giving it their all to it.
Is that the ocean one?
Which one?
That's the ocean one, right?
Yeah, that's the ocean one.
That's where he's like, yo, meet me out at the beach or whatever. And he tells the dude, like, walk out in the water and try to tread in a business suit or some shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love life coaches, man. They'll put you in the stupidest ass position that you ever would have done. And then they'll make it into a life lesson. You're like, I would never be here. I would never be in the fucking ocean in a business suit. What are you doing to me, my guy? And he's like, right, sucks, right? Sucks to not have money. And you're like,
yes, damn it, you're right. Yes, he's right. He's
I'm
right.
just drowning in a business suit. I wish I had money. That would help me fucking float. No, I like that one. It makes a lot of sense, man, because a lot of the times when it comes to the entrepreneurship, like I've always told it, I've said it a million times on the show, there's like a certain type of like it's a different cut of person. Like to take the risks. Like I always tell people the one time you have to put $100 into some shit and you don't know if you're going to get that $100 back, that's going to make or break a person into coming to starting a business. Because you don't want to spend $100 because in your mind that's like that might be a bill that you could take care of. That could be 99 fucking dollar burgers. That could be 70 fucking Happy Meals or fucking buckets with, you know, ruining kids' lives and shit from McDonald's.
Wait, so why do you say burgers and you look at me?
Listen, Chris, I'm gonna save you. You don't have to answer that, sir. So listen, that brings up a great point. So I want to ask the both of you guys a question. Being that you guys are young entrepreneurs, Chris brings up a great point. What were some of the hurdles and some of the downfalls you guys have encountered since the new store opened?
Yeah.
Honestly, it was just kind of like getting everybody to basically like the promoting side of it, getting people to come in, showing people why they should, like you say, there's 12, 13 different shops around the whole valley. Mm-hmm. Why should they just come shop with us? What do we have to offer? So that's why we specialize in certain stuff. Like I said, David's more of the comic, has knowledge of that. I do the Funkos. My brother does the whole TCG card grading. I mean, the Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, all that kind of stuff. So we put ourselves like all our own brackets of what we have to learn and get the knowledge of it. And then that's how we get the customers in. Basically having the knowledge to get all the stuff in and bring the people in.
And what have been some of the biggest changes that you guys have done to catch up to the marketplace in recent times?
So in the very beginning, when we first started at the main place, we used our experience from Walmart running a multi-million-dollar company. You know, we had customer count, how many customers walk by, how many customers come in, how much they spend, what their average ticket is. You know, we broke that down literally in a journal every single day. And we calculated, okay, so if we spent this much and we made this much and this many people came, you know, we ran promotions, you know, hey, you want a 10% off discount, just share a post. You know,
so so in other words, you did it the fucking right way.
Chris,
that's like analytics. I never do that shit in my whole life, dude.
Chris, they're giving us the blueprint, bro. Let them
we're giving you a small one. Yes. The first one's free.
No. Let them keep talking.
Let them keep telling us the secrets of life, dude. I got my Gary Vee in the fucking chat right now. Yeah, that's crazy. So you actually did the analytics, like you broke it down by numbers and all. Man, that's hard, man. That's like, it takes a lot of patience because You know, there's so many other things that are going through your mind as an entrepreneur that you kind of sometimes overlook those kind of positions when it comes to like running a business, like really breaking it down. But in terms of what you're talking about, like it worked. It worked. Yeah. Doing the due diligence and taking the time to write your analytics and really get the numbers down. It really helped you in the next like couple of months, or how long did it take for it to start kind of kicking in?
So how long were we in the main place for?
We were in the main place for about 6 months before we got shut down to COVID.
Yeah.
Or
somewhat through the pandemic.
Yeah.
So prior to that, so prior to that, what we did was with the analytics, basically we were able to invest obviously like in PayPal Square, and now they did the analytics for us. You know, average ticket, how much we spend a year, and so forth. So we started off with the hard work with writing it in the journal, transferred it to electronically, made it a lot easier for us to get daily sales reports and things like that, leveraging the technology because we had the money to invest in it. And then obviously with the pandemic hit, you know, a lot of businesses were affected. We actually opened during the pandemic. You know, fun fact, a lot of people don't know that. We actually went brick and mortar during the pandemic, not an indoor flea market. So that was a very, very fun challenge. You know, we came out successful for now, you know, thank God.
2 years in.
You called it a fun challenge. Oh, wow. Yeah. All right. Well, so tell us, I mean, I guess the obvious question is, how did you do it?
Honestly, it was mostly, I know when we were shut down for a good 4 months. We couldn't open up to the public. We could only have 2 people inside the store. That was including associates as well. So we used a lot of the kind of the virtual. We would use eBay. We would use websites called TCG, Bakari. Basically, any way that we could figure out how to make the extra revenue, the extra income, we would use all that kind of tools that provided to us.
Yeah, definitely. So at the main place we were very good with the manager / I guess landlord of the main place. So we would be like, hey, we need to come in. We have some of the merchandise we want to ship out. He's like, hey, you know what? You can't have more than 5 people in here. I don't care. Just don't have more than 5. So we're like, okay. Me, him, and JJ's 3, you know. So we're doing this 2 customers at a time. Like we're gonna book it, curbside it. We're gonna do what we have to do. And in eBay, I think the very first month of the pandemic, I think we did about 30,000, right?
30,000.
We did about 30,000 on eBay just the first month during the pandemic, and obviously we continued that momentum there.
Damn, that's pretty fucking good.
Wait, $30,000.
$30,000.
Hey, I'm not gonna just let them gloss over that.
Over $30,000.
Yeah, like he just said that as like a fact. Like, yeah, we just made 30,000 in the first month of the pandemic. I'm not gonna let you guys gloss over that. That's amazing.
So, what were like some of the hardest challenges you guys had during the pandemic, and how did it change the market for the collecting like scene down here in the South Texas area?
Honestly, it was more of like the whole what the counties allowed us to do. One of the main challenges is we couldn't leave. They will catch us out. You get kind of threatening you was getting you either arrested or ticket or whatever. The other thing is people not having the trust since the whole pandemic was happening. Nobody wanted to meet with each other. Nobody wanted to buy items. That's why we kind of tend to utilize more of the virtual people from eBay were the ones that kind of helped us push forward until we were able to open up fully here, brick and mortar.
Yeah, and definitely one of the biggest key aspects of it was, being able to buy that trust. We already had customers' trust. A lot of pandemic was giving the extra money to households, right, to support them through bills and stuff. And a lot of people, some of their jobs were paying for them to stay at home, so they had extra income. So I think that's kind of what helped drive that marketplace. Especially with us, having the best prices. If it came down to them wanting to have a video of us how we pack it and stuff, I mean, we were going to do whatever we had to do to make the customer happy and to buy the trust. Ultimately, that's what we wanted to do. And from there, we were just able to push it. Definitely came across some roadblocks. I mean, one of the biggest things was, I was lucky enough, I guess you can say, to be a retail worker. So me being on the road wasn't a big deal. I had a letter, that says,
you had the letter.
I'm essential, right? So,
essential worker.
Fred may or may not have borrowed that letter a couple times.
Yeah. To make
there may have been some loss.
He might not have made copies of it.
Yeah. But I mean, at some point, you got to do what you got to do to, what's best for the business and stuff. Even though Walmart's a great company, you have to invest in yourself because you never know what can happen at the end of the day.
Of course.
And was it any type of financial hit when the world opened back up and they were allowing people to go to businesses and stuff? Or did it hit you worse when it went back to normal? And did you lose a lot of that income from the online virtual style selling? Or did it continue and maintain, and it's kind of like striving alongside the openings of your business?
For like the first, probably I would say the first month, once the whole everything kind of reopened up, it was kind of slow because a lot of people were they wanted to go out. They didn't want to just be home. They wanted, you know, I'm gonna take time. I'm gonna go to the vacation. I'm gonna go out of town. I'm gonna take the kids out. I'm gonna go to Disney. I'm gonna go over here. So a lot of most of the income, and then not having to, basically, I guess the parents have to buy it now, school supplies, all that kind of stuff when they reopen. They kind of affect. I don't think just us. I think majority of the shops nearby. But the virtual side, I would say it did not really go too down.
Okay.
Virtual kind of tends to stay around the same. What fluctuates a lot more is like the in-store around the first month.
Yeah, definitely. So like with the omni-channel experience, as long as you're still pushing it hard, regardless if you're making $30,000, you're making $3. You know, it's all about having that availability post the product condition. You know, that kind of never really slowed down. The shop did slow down a little bit, not enough to where we were concerned. You know, thankfully. But you know, did we have a day of zero? I think we had like a day of zero once, right?
Yeah.
I think we had like one day where we made nothing, and we just used that day to clean pops, clean the shop, you know, sanitize it, you know, post more stuff online, make videos that people can say like, hey, we're actually cleaning. It's not just for fun. You know, like we're doing this all the time, guys. Like, you know, come stop by. But I think we just had one day of where we made nothing, and we just looked at each other like, okay, so let's not have a repeat of this. You know, we're not going to do that again.
Chris,
Hey, what's up?
Chris, they're telling us the secrets.
They're telling us all the secrets right now.
They're telling us.
And that's why I knew it was going to be really cool. David had hit me up earlier this week, and he was like, yo, what's it cost to come on the podcast? And I was like, yo, you're on the podcast already. Let's go.
You should have said like $1 million in quarters. $1 million in quarters.
And you got to sit on Fred's lap.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, we only got one chair available. But yeah, the moment you guys told me, I knew it was going to be good to have you guys on, because you guys were going to be able to give us like a really good insight. You know, like the way that you run your show, David, I think you're a great businessman, and you're a very smart individual when it comes to running your place. You sound like a man who knows exactly what he's talking about. Like, there's a lot of people that I've talked to that run shops, and they're just like, oh yeah, dude, I'm here to make some cash. And they just like, you know, they just fucking talk shit or whatever. Like, but you actually talk numbers.
Yeah,
like,
well,
as a business person and as a person in your position, what would be some of the first open advice you would give to someone who's willing to open any type of business in the area?
Oh, great question. Give us some more answers, please.
So definitely what I tell anybody who wants to open up a business is just be prepared to lose your time off. You know, if you're going to open up a business, you're not going to be successful putting 40 hours a week. You know, you're going to put 140 hours a week.
Okay.
You know, and that's something that you got to learn to sacrifice it, because, you know, what you can achieve from an 8 to 5, if you do it from 8 to 8, you're literally putting more than the average person. You know, so you can accomplish what you want faster. You know, if you're putting 12-hour shifts, 16-hour shifts, whatever it is. I know there's been times where me and Fred have worked the shop, done the cons, come back to do a whatnot auction site, and we're tired. But, you know, in that day, you know, we average maybe $10,000, and we're like, hey, you know what? It's totally worth it being tired, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, now, granted, not every single day is a $10,000 a day or whatever it might be. But definitely, if you want to start a business, whether it's going to be services, obviously services are more profitable. You're not going to take over the world with a Funko Pop at 20% margin. You know, that's not going to happen. You know, that's something you got to be realistic about. But if you take that same concept of collecting, especially when it comes to the customers in the environment, you can leverage that for, you know, like our parking lot event, different things that we do. And, you know, we can talk about that in detail later. But you can leverage that for something that's more profitable, you know, organizing and collecting, you know, investing in different things. One of the biggest debates I get is, you know, do I invest in crypto or do I invest in my business? I invest in your business, because that money's tangible. You can see that money. You know, I don't want to wake up every day and look at it and say, oh, my dollar went down. You know, I'd rather wake up every day and push that dollar for as much as I can.
Shit, that reminds me. I know, Brian, you're very much on the crypto talk, right? Yo, well, you know about it more than like myself and a couple other people. You're like the guy I go to just to kind of get just some type, like the beat on stuff. Did you hear about that shit about some NFT that Jake Paul had that went from like $60 million to like $10?
See, I think with me, I turn off when it comes to NFTs. Like, I know what they are and
the capability
of them.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in it. I think it's too early for the
I think it's way too early to kind of like really, because the whole thing is like, I know it's a little bit off subject because we're still talking about the guys from the collectors and the shop and stuff, but getting into that type of conversation, I think it's because the VR world hasn't been established yet to be a necessity. It's kind of like a hobbyist thing.
Not even to cut you off, but I think that we're past VR. I think VR was 10 years ago. I think we're into AR now. And so like
augmented.
Yeah. And so I think although it's too early, I think that's the direction we're going in, because I think everything is going to turn or have some type of AR capability. But I just think it's too early right now, personally.
Okay, I mean that makes sense. Yeah. I totally 100% agree. Are you guys familiar with AR, augmented reality?
I know there's some video games in it. That's pretty much it.
That would be augmented reality is established with like where you can use your camera to see virtual reality items in the real world.
Yeah.
So that would be like those, like you pick up there's a barcode or maybe like a QR code, and you scan it, and like the Mandalorian is like on your table. But the idea of the NFT is like, I think it works very well when they establish that you own that item and it kind of stays with you, like that individual code, and they can't see it unless they're like a part of your life or place, or it's
I think
it's like an art piece or something.
I think once Meta, aka Facebook, because they're heavily into AR research, and Nintendo also a big leader in AR research. I think once they transition, that's when NFTs will be tangible and when you'll see some type of like money back. But
yeah, straight. I must ask you guys, David, Fred, I want to know like some fucking drama shit that happens down here, like when it comes to like your shit, because it's always.
Oh, you want to get messy?
I want to get fucking dirty.
Oh, you want to get messy? Okay.
Like, I mean, I know what it's like, man. I'm there at the con and I see people fucking dropping prices of items that are like $30, and then you see it at Walmart for $20, and then they're selling it for $80. So I gotta ask, man. Like, I need to know what are the pros and cons and the dark sides of the con world, man. I need to know the dark side. So tell me about the scammers and the cons, man.
Just depends, man. There's like the scammers. Basically, I think we talked about it earlier. Was about like people trying to sell repos, reproduction items, KOs, knockoffs. They order them. We've had countless customers come in and they bring us pops that are supposedly worth around the $800, $900 range, and it's kind of saddening, man, to look at them and be like, hey, man, like, you know what? It's fake. Like, I hope you didn't pay too much, man.
So, all right. So do you guys have like an authenticator there, or are you guys just like knowledgeable and have the resources to be able to tell a fake?
It's basically like the research that we do. We research a lot of the items that comes out, just so we could have that basic knowledge of how to distinguish between a knockoff item and a legitimate item. So it's just a bunch of like forums that we watch. There's Discord chats, there's Reddit, Facebook. There's a lot of like different things you could use to be able to kind of give you like a guidebook of how to tell if it's a legitimate item or not.
Yeah, definitely. And we've had some experiences before in conventions where we've had the organizers for the conventions come to us and like, hey, do you guys think this pop is fake? And we'll just look at it, at a quick glance, like, oh, it's 100% fake. Look at the label, look at the spacing, look at the printing.
Drag them.
So hold on. Not only that, because I know in the sneaker culture, sometimes a unknowing consumer will buy something thinking that it's real, and it turns out to not be real, and then tries to resell it. Let's say I'm that type of a reseller, and I'm coming to your shop. I'm trying to unload or sell this Funko. Break the news to me that this Funko is not as real.
Basically,
I want you to say verbatim, like, hey, tell me to my face, this Funko is fake.
We use it more like as an educational thing. Like, we'll let you know, hey, like,
great.
They put you down slowly.
Yeah. We ain't just gonna be like, hey, this shit's fake. Like,
no, get out of my store. Yeah, get out of my store.
Yeah. Door's right there, man. Get out now.
Yeah.
Nah, we'll let you. We'll educate you. We'll let you know this is why it's fake. This is why this item's doesn't look the way it's supposed to be.
Damn, I thought it was gonna be like a tar and feather moment, dude. I'm not even
lying. Shame. Shame.
Out of the convention and shit. An alarm, fucking fireworks and shit go off. Like, he's a con.
What are some good ones? We've had it before where they'll come in and we're like, well, where did you purchase it? We'll ask them where. Well, I got it here. Okay, so do you know how much it goes for? Oh, it goes for $600. How much did you pay? $20. Okay, that should be a red flag.
That's one indication.
She's red flag right there, dude. Fucking red
flag.
So, man, that's fucking crazy. How many times has that happened to you guys in the last year? Let's say I'd say year.
It happens often, man. Like, I would say we only get at least like once or twice a week. People coming in.
Really?
Like
damn, that's
majority of the
fucking
fake stuff are like
wild,
Pokemon
dude.
cards.
So
But,
wait,
I mean, is it?
so
Would
wait,
you consider that the reason why it happens is because we're so close to like the border? So like the
Honestly,
production. Okay, that makes sense. Because you see, like right on the border towns here, Brian. I don't know if when you came down, if they,
I know how close you guys are.
yeah, but no, I don't know if you got to like if you had
Trust
the
me,
opportunity
I know
because
exactly
Brian came
how
down.
far you guys
I want to
are.
say like last year. I want to say it's been about a year already, right, Brian?
I want to say
Since
about
you-
last year. Yeah, last year.
So when Brian came, I was gonna ask, like, were you able to like get close to the border or go across?
I crossed the border. Yeah, I crossed.
Did you? Okay, sweet. So you see how there's like a bunch of little like pop-up shops and shit, right?
Yeah.
So like back in the day, like a lot of people used to go buy some Jokleys from over there. Jokleys are the Oakley glasses, but they ain't happening, bro. But I gotta ask because like with the Jokely glasses, there used to be this thing where it's like, yo, on the word Oakley on the bottom is a little trademark, and you could see the little circle or something. But with the Jokleys, the trademark wasn't there. Yeah, it wasn't there. You would just like they would just like fees over it. Are there little things like that when it comes to like the pop world or the Pokemon world, like with the cards or the Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Is there certain ways that you can kind of like catch it when it's fake? That's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
is there like a
with
branding or
Pokemon-
something?
Like with Pokemon, the easiest thing is like majority of the cards. There's like different varieties. You got full arts, rares, VMAX, all that. Some of them have texture, so that's one way to kind of tell if they're fakes. If they don't have no textures, it's an indication it's a fake. We've gotten cards that people would like kind of like paste together. They'll put like the cover of an expensive card into another card.
Oh, that's dicey, dude.
Yeah, they ship them all like that, man.
Awesome.
People get really creative, man, of what they try to do. So there's like certain things that I think on a legitimate Pokemon card, if you turn it, if you look through it to a light, you can see a black little watermark through the middle.
Oh
And
shit!
that's one thing you could take. And same thing with Funko. Funkos, they have serial numbers in the box and they have serial numbers in the bottom of the figure.
All
and
right.
then like there's printings and all that kind of stuff.
I have a question. I have a question. So you guys had said at least once or twice a week someone will try to get some fake item over on you. I'm a numbers guy, just like you guys are, and I'm an odds guy. There's gotta be one or two that slipped through. That slipped through cracks. How do you guys deal with that?
So we argue about it. Yeah, obviously, right? So we want to know who messed up. And I'm not going to say that somebody is in the lead. But, definitely, we've caught it afterwards.
Yeah, I've gotten some pops that were worth $400 that turned out to be fake. So it's just basically it's a loss.
Okay.
It's a loss. We write it down as a loss.
But we remember the people.
Yeah, we learned.
Yeah.
We remember the people because the people say the same in the community.
So in the comment section, George says, bro, the saddest thing I've ever seen is going into a shop. This kid had a $40 card that his friends made him, and they ripped it in half to check if it was fake, and it was real. So they ended up ripping his fucking card. What are you guys doing at the collectors, man? It's like, no, that's not the collectors, goddamn. Do you guys, okay, like, that's like a sad story, dude. Like, that's pretty fucked up. I feel bad for that fucking kid. Like, how do you... Okay.
That's tragic.
Tell me. That's fucking hardcore.
That's tragic. That's
fucking gotcha. You guys remember the movie The Fifth Element, right?
Of course.
Do you remember that one? Yeah. Yes. Do you remember that one weird guy that goes to the door, knocks on it, has the picture on the thing, and he's like, I just want to. Okay, imagine a guy like that walked into your store and brought in a card, and you knew that bitch was fake. Mm-hmm. How would you address this dude that wants to sell you this card? That like straight up, you know, that shit's like two cards glued together, and you're just looking at it, and you're looking at him, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, you know, 100% that bitch is fake. And this guy's like, he's come with the game plan.
But listen, maybe he doesn't know it's fake.
Yeah,
maybe he's under the impression that it's fake, or that it's real. I mean,
so how do you deal with people like that? How do you deal first, how do you deal with it if he doesn't know? And then how do you second deal with it if he's a straight up motherfucking con man and he
put his hand on the table and bring out the hammer and just smack his hand on
yeah, dude, so how do you deal with this shit? I want to know, like, is there a cop you call? Like, is there one really weird nerdy dude that pops in with a taser? Like, I need to know, dude. I need to know what's the police on this, dude. So
if we get an individual like that, you know, the first thing is education. You know, you got to educate the customer in order to buy their trust. So we definitely educate them. You know, we always start off with definitely the same thing. You know, where'd you buy it? Who'd you buy it from? how much did you pay? You know, you can check the value here. Now, let me tell you why this card's not going to work for me here. You know, because it's basically the truth, right? I can't sell a fake product.
Let me tell you why this isn't going to work for me, okay? I like
so
it.
we break it down. We explain to them, you know, this card's been tampered with. You know, maybe, you know, the person that sold it to you, well, he's a good friend. Well, he might not be that good of a friend, man, because he just ripped you off about $50.
Yeah.
So, you know, if they come out too aggressive, you know, here at the Collectors, we do believe in the Second Amendment, you know.
So we believe in the Second Amendment.
We believe in the
you
Second
go into
Amendment.
politics and history, dude. That's awesome.
But we definitely, you know, a lot of times, you know, people are, if they're coming to sell, obviously there's something that's going on, whether they need money, medical wise, home, or whatever it is, you know, and we don't want them to go to different shops and never be educated. Well, why aren't they buying my product? You know, because ultimately we're here to serve the customer. So we want to educate them on, you know, this is what you want to look out for. Maybe you should go back, talk to your friend. Sometimes they come back and they're thankful, you know, like, hey, you know, I appreciate you guys showing me what to look for. He actually gave me my money back. X, Y, Z, whatever it might be.
Nice.
But
that's lucky as shit, man. I got a fucking kid to go buy lottery tickets. He'll probably win money too, man. Goddamn.
But we have had a couple of slip ups that have happened, but we've just learned from it. We eat the loss, and we definitely make sure we don't lose again.
Listen, I want to suggest this. The next time that this happens, hopefully, God forbid, knock on wood, this never happens again. But if it does happen
in a week, you said it happens every week. Goddamn.
If it happens, if it happens again, the person that was on watch, you just got to buy dinner. You got to buy dinner and drinks that night, bro. Like, don't argue. Listen, don't argue and bicker and all that shit. Just buy dinner and get over it and go to the next one.
Or you can make a fake alarm that like you hit and it just goes off like, hey, you're our first caller that brought us a bunch of fake shit to buy, dude. We need to buy your videotape it, dude. Just videotape them freaking the fuck out. Now I gotta ask because George, that'd be fucking funny. That's funny. Lights and shit just go off. George brings up the idea of saying we once had this kid come into the shop with a full binder full of fake cards trying to sell it, and we just told him we weren't interested. Has that ever been a situation where someone comes in, brings an entire like roster or 20 pops, and you know for sure that this person is like, he's got a reputation or the way he carries himself that you know this guy knows they're fake and he's trying to swindle?
I think majority is it's a bunch of, it's kind of sad, man. You get a bunch of kids. I've gotten countless of them that come in with fake Pokemon cards. People, they sell them in the flea market, man. They're called Pocket Monsters. It's a case full of 70 Pokemon cards that are worth a lot of money, man.
It sucks hearing about it already because kids are such like
they're called Pocket Monsters.
Yep. Couldn't make it up.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Fuck.
Not the other Pocket Monster, man. I know what you're thinking. Let's
get the mind out of the gutter there.
The other Pocket Monster, man.
Yeah, man.
Fun size.
Hard, man.
What kind of clientele you guys got coming to your shop, bro? I mean,
he shows in just wiggling it and shit. Just comes in wiggling that shit. How much you want this for, man? It's not used.
Oh man,
slightly used. So like, okay, well, I mean, fuck, dude. Instead of just buying him dinner, why don't you just buy it for a quarter of the price and just collect all the fake fucking cards too? You know what I mean? And have them have a place to sell the fake cards. You don't know.
Just join the dark side.
There may be some random ass motherfucker in 5 years that's like, hey man, do you remember all those fake fucking cards they used to make at the flea market? Like, I wish I could buy those. They were real weird and shit. And you're like, hey, check this shit out. I got a whole binder full of that shit. Just buying fake shit, dude. Can you imagine if there was a market for fake stuff?
It's a lot of dinners.
Yeah, that's a lot of dinners.
That's a lot of dinners right there.
That's wild as fuck, dude. I'm not even gonna lie. So now, just like I asked you earlier about your most valuable item, I want to ask you, what's the worst con someone has ever hit you with? And then what's like the stupidest shit that you've ever been like, this is dumb?
What a phenomenal question.
My shop. Yeah, I gotta know like what's the worst.
So listen. Let me just give the AKA to that. What was the biggest fight you guys had over the something fake being sold to you guys?
I have to know what was the biggest swindle. Like the one that came in, brought you like a Hulk toy, but it was actually like I don't know, just some other fucking toy painted on, and you were like, I can't believe I bought that stupid shit. And then the other one is like straight up, someone's got some dumbass shit, and you're like, you need to get the fuck out of my shop, dude, before I beat the living shit out of you. Like, I need to know the ugliest one that you went through and the stupidest fucking one you've been through. I need to know both of these.
I would say the ugliest one. I don't.
So look at Fred's already double talking. He's like, I fucked up. I fucked up.
Yeah. And you know what? I thought it was. I thought it was a phenomenal. I thought it was a phenomenal question, but now it's just it's opening up old wounds right now. Look, they're like, motherfucker, you brought it up again. Sorry,
just crying and shit. I lost $30,000.
That wasn't too bad. But, there was this shop in the mall that was closing down. It's called Joe Brand. They I don't know how to. It was a clothing store, but they had fucking collectibles. A bunch of.
Gotta get closer. I can't hear you. I need to hear this shit.
They had a bunch of collectibles. It was a Joe Brand shop.
Blue box Star Wars.
Blue box Star Wars figures. I actually came down from the refineries.
Never forget it.
I called David and my brother. I'm like, hey bro, this guy's selling these figures, man. He's giving me a deal of a lifetime, man. He's asking for $1,000, grand cash, all the figures for $1,000. I'm like, I think I can make my money back. It was like 40 figures, bro. Bought them for $1,000. They're worth like $2 a piece.
Oh no!
Okay. All right. So wait, you're sitting next to a numbers guy. Explain to me how you go back to the numbers guy and explain those numbers to him. How does that conversation go? How does that conversation go?
Freddy toys at $2 is $80 for $1,000, David.
How does that math add up to you?
So I told him, hey, you know, Fred, like it was a good deal, bro. But you know, out of these 40 figures, people only asking for 3. The customer demand is 3. Obi-Wan, Anakin, and R2-D2. Like that's all people want. Like,
it's like $9.
Yeah, it's like $9 out of 1,000. That motherfucker's just licking his finger, counting $1,000 as he walks out of that shit. He's like, man, dude. Wow, that was awesome.
He went straight on his phone and called his girlfriend like, yo, you will never believe what I just fucking did, bro. You never believe. We're going to Sizzler tonight.
He's pulling a Conor McGregor. He's like, baby, it's a red panties night. Red panties night. God damn.
That's what.
And now I gotta know. Now I gotta know, like, the stupidest one, like the one that you like. It raised like there were cops. There was fucking police.
The accountability. I love the accountability right here. I love it.
The screaming baby mama outside with the baby crying in her arms. Like, I got to know all the dirtiness, dude.
So, this one was my fault.
Yeah.
So we were investing in, obviously, right? So looking at the market and the competition, we noticed a lot of people were doing arcade gaming, right? So obviously, you know, you have Pandora boxes, you know, you can have 500 games in one, 1,000 games in one, or you can have 500 different units, right? Obviously, we're a small shop, so we went with the Pandora box, right? We went to, I guess, an ex-friend, ex-business partner, I'm not going to name.
I like that. He who shall not be named.
He who should not be named. He who should not be named.
Voldemort in this fucking story.
Just because I'm not that petty, but, you know, we invested into buying a cabinet, custom-made cabinet. I think it was $500, right? So it was like $500-$600. So we invested in that. The ROI on that, it wasn't worth it, you know. So he basically brought us back a TV monitor, some wood, and some wires. So
all right, listen.
So he fucking swindled your
that
ass.
one. Okay, listen, that stings, but you got to respect the hustle, man. I mean, he got you good. Like, if you're gonna get me, yo, just get me good. Like, be like, oh,
if he talked to you that way, like,
yeah,
he got you some way.
He got you really.
Is that
good
the cabinet you guys have in the shop right now?
So, long story short, you know, of course, we're gonna seek legal action, right?
Yeah.
So, some threats may or may not have been made about legal action and
about legs being broken.
Listen, we do not indict ourselves. Again, I'm laying the guidelines. We don't indict ourselves on the show as well.
Yeah, we are not enticing people to establish painful situations here. We are not inciting any type of action against these people.
Yeah. But I mean, we did square up the situation. Obviously, this person, when I see him at conventions and stuff, you know, it's just the awkward high and by, you know.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do some gang shit.
No.
Do some gang. You walk by him and you throw like a gang sign real quick and shit. You better stay on your side of the hood, boy.
I had like 500 reasons to have a conversation with him, but I chose not to, you know. But that was a good ownership that, you know, I told Fred and JJ, like, you know, I'm gonna own up to that. That was me. That was me trying to go a different venue. bringing a different genre in. Obviously now we got hooked up with the right people with Limon to help us out with that, to get some custom made cabinets and stuff. So we found the right person for it that wasn't just looking out for themselves.
But was that like like just on the same subject? Like, was that like a side hustle you guys were gonna do, where you guys were interested in doing cabinets or something?
So at this time, I want to say our competition, they were offering free gaming for the summer, right? Our two local competitors. So I'm like, hey, well, if they can do it, I can do it. Same thing, right? Why not?
Yeah. Keep up.
So that was kind of the biggest thing, and we are investing in things that we are planning to do next year, claw machines, things like that we've already accumulated and building up. So we're investing towards that future. So we're like, hey, well, let's test it out with some cabinets. We already have some machines on the side. Why not see what can happen? Start drawing the crowd for that. But obviously, right now with the way things have been going, we're just still investing into the future of that. But we want to go into the more of the organization and collecting. But we're always constantly looking for different avenues to build off of.
Excellent. Now, George asked another fucking banging question in the comment section. I gotta ask this. He put, "What's the most expensive item that you did and had the highest de-evolution over the time invested in it?" Like, what's the thing that
I guess they answered they answered that when it was when they got beat, right? That has to be it.
No, not like that. It has to be a collected item. Like that would be like fucking, I don't know, fucking the Hulk, 13 that was valued at like $300, and then like in the or Ant-Man when he slapped his wife and it just devalued it completely after Marvel did that shit. Like, what would be the item that you went high investment and then devalued over time?
Honestly, one of the main things that I guess we purchased in abundance, which I did, that was kind of my bad as well. I purchased Game of Thrones. It was a bunch of collections of Game of Thrones, and then when the season finale kind of hit, nobody really liked the season finale.
Everyone shit on the season finale.
No. So wait. No, Chris, let me look. So you're telling me the pandemic couldn't stop you, but the season finale of Game of Thrones is what fucked.
As a matter of fact, though, like right now, the story of Game of Thrones, whatever the House of Dragons, is doing phenomenally well. Yeah. A lot of people are becoming a fan. It's bringing a whole new like thing. So, is there a possibility like that can be a flip now since you've like sat on it for so long?
Majority of the stuff are going up, but it's kind of like the more popular stuff, the dragons, Daenerys, and all that kind of stuff. So like majority of those items are now starting to shoot up. But like I remember back then we had there was a Jon Snow pop that was worth about $900, and in less than 3 days it dropped from $900 to $40.
Wow.
So there's a chance. So what you're saying is there's a chance.
And we're gonna pay $40 for that. Just to put in perspective.
Yo, that was like that shit. I remember Rob was talking about it a couple of weeks ago, like the Eddie Munson shit. Remember how that shit was like banging for a bit, right? The guy from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah.
Eddie Munson, dude, he was having trouble finding like toys. They were selling like the pops for $120, $130, $150 a pop. Right now, you probably find it for like the normal price.
Are you serious?
By now, like the hype train of it.
I remember there was some show that you were going to that he was gonna meet you guys there because he wanted that.
Yep.
That Funko Pop.
Yeah, he said he found like two of them or one of them at the venue. It was at UCX, and he said that they were $150. Someone was selling one for $150, and I was like, that's fucking wild. Like in my mind, I was like, that's so crazy because I mean, guys,
I would have bought it.
Oh yeah, just for the idea of it, just for just the hype of it at the moment. But like I talked to like I'll ask you guys, David and Fredrick, I want to ask you guys like. The idea of collecting has changed dramatically from what it was a decade ago to now, right? Yeah. Beforehand, and I tell people about this, when I was younger and I was collecting, the idea of collecting something that was worth value was because of damage or rarity of the item, not by choice, but by chance. And that means like if I make an item, let's say I make this little like Ryu, right? And I mass produce 150,000 of those toys. And out of nowhere, I'm shipping it to the United States from China on a boat. That boat goes down and only 200 of those 100,000 survive. The price and value of this item will shoot up dramatically because of the rarity of the item, because all of them were lost at sea. and the value of it would be astronomically high. That's like a, you know, a $2,000, $3,000, you know, really, really crazy price. But if I was to make this item and only print 200 and tell everybody that it's a collector's item, would you say that's me fucking with the market, or is that cheating the idea of what a collecting item really is?
Supply and demand, man. It's
because that's the idea. Is like back in the day, it wouldn't matter if someone made 300 or 400 because it's like, well, that's your fault. The idea of what would make it is the availability of the item just by natural cause, right?
Yeah, so
but has that changed already?
Yeah, definitely. I know for sure. Like, you know, for example, like some influencers, like Logan Paul's one good example, right? Massive following. You know, from every age is going to follow him. You know, you can see the big spike in Pokemon, right? Once he became Pokemon, crazy. His necklace, you know, looking for everything. You can see the TikToks, you know, the 30 seconds about, you know, the Pikachu, the Charizard, and so forth. Obviously, with him driving that market that way, you know, it's able to, you know, help him with his value on what he does too. So obviously there's a demand for that, and the influence of, you know, the availability. If you see this person with it, you're going to want it, right? Biggest thing. So if you know Logan Paul does Pokemon cards, you know, then your kids are going to want Pokemon cards. Like my kid, for example, like, oh, the Charizard, like Logan Paul, right? I'm like, well, we don't mention that name, but yeah, the Charizard, you know, let's get some Pokemon cards, bro. I got you, you know, but definitely there's
WWE superstar, man.
Yeah, exactly. There is some outside influence when it comes to the market itself, especially if it's something that's self-produced. You know, if I'm Logan Paul and I want to make a bobblehead, you know, why would I make 1,000 of them for $100 when I can make 100 of them for $1,000? You know what I mean? Just that's how I would corner my market. You know, add my signature to it, and I can do more. You know, definitely the variability is going to help.
I mean, that's just super crazy to me, man, because it's just, I guess it's just the way that I'm thinking about it, because I'm still thinking of the old school way of the idea on what causes rarity or value to something that you're collecting, right? I'll never forget. A lot of people would talk about the Spider-Man comic that has him carrying the two guys on the cover. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about it being like, I want to say it's like $100,000 for that comic, or $10,000 or something. And I will never forget, there was an episode of some reality show with Fez from the 70s show, mm-hmm. right? Wilder Valderrama, right? And he had 2 copies of that comic. And at the time it was worth $10,000. And he made his like lawn guy or some shit to rip out all the pages and put them as his wallpaper in his bathroom.
Jesus.
And I was like, this fucking asshole. Of course, like him destroying 2 of those comic books that we know are worth 100,000, and then him physically showing the destruction of it raises the price of the rest of those comic books like dramatically, because you knew that 2 of them were destroyed out of nowhere, which is what I've always believed causes rarity, because then the idea of needing to find those is so much more important than knowing that someone that just recently made an item could possibly make and has the mold to make 1 million more, but that print's never going to be able to be, you know, printed again. It'll have to be digitally copied, and you'll never get the art pieces in the way that it was done way back in the day. If you guys had a choice of something that was rare out in the market right now that you knew that you could get, what would be one of the items that you would love to have collectors wise?
Honestly, one of the items that I would love to have is a Hulk 181. It's actually the first appearance of Wolverine.
Debatable. Debatable. They say it's 180, but it could be 181.
181.
So
that's the one I got the value.
And which one's that one?
That's it's the first appearance of Wolverine.
Okay, the Wolverine one in Canada, when he goes after him in Canada and shit.
It's where he's fighting the Hulk.
Yeah.
How much is that going for?
In a good grade, about maybe
couple hundred
thousand, like
yeah, let's say like $100,000.
Oh, so you be so buy it.
Yeah, man, you got that shit. I know a guy with a binder with a bunch of fake Pokemon cards that can get it for you. I know a guy that was selling 40 pops or 40 toys for $1,000. That's the one with when the Hulk's fighting Wendigo, and then Wolverine pops up to fight him and shit. He's fighting like that's the old school one, right?
Yeah,
that's where he's wearing the old school Wolverine costume. Old school. And David, what about you?
For me, you know, I love collectibles and everything, you know, and I've been lucky to get what I wanted. But you know, for me, if it comes to collecting, One of the biggest things I would have wanted is a gravity knife for my paratroopers back on D-Day. That's just a vintage piece that I've always tried to collect. Gravity knife, basically, parachuters would land upside down. They do the gravity knife for the blade to drop. Just one of those rare things that I've always wanted to get. Comic book wise, I just started dabbling in comic books recently. I've gotten things that I'm satisfied with personally. Obviously, like an Amazing Fantasy, that'd be great, right? But for me, to me, it's more of the iconic thing of the weapon and the history behind that for collecting.
So how much is that going for?
That one I've seen at the Saxon Gun Show, just in a pretty restorable condition, just for about $120.
Yeah, it's not too much.
So,
yeah, old school knives aren't really that expensive. You would have to go for like a knife made by an actual like artist, like a Hibin, or you're gonna need to go something like if you go for like one of like Musashi Miyamoto's like fucking swords from back in the day kind of bullshits, like those are the ones that are like, oh, these are priceless. You can never find it. The Masamune, or you look for certain type of weapons. But knives are pretty, like the World War II knives, you could find them for a pretty reasonable price. Pretty reasonable price.
It's the availability. I just haven't been able to see it from here in North Dakota, where I'm working now. I just haven't.
So by chance, guy, you're like a knife guy or what, David? I didn't know that about you.
Oh, fun fact, yeah. Cold Steel, Spyderco, Benchmade. Those are just my go-to brands.
Damn, True Swords up in the house. Bud K, Bud K.
Definitely just stunned it on us in the night.
Yeah, I didn't know that about him.
And we have no idea.
Are you the kind of guy that has a knife under your bed and shit like that, or what?
I have a gun under my pillow.
Oh fuck, man, shit.
Sorry.
Guns down. Yeah, damn, man, that's fucking hardcore, man. Brian, do you have a knife under your bed, Brian? Are you one of those guys that have a knife under your bed?
Yeah, definitely.
I got a knife.
I have a question for you guys though. Being that you have been collectors before you guys were the collectors, what's the most you spent on one item? Like you guys are giving me like your fantasy items, or maybe like what have you just splurged on? So you know what, I have to have it. It has to be in my possession. I got to have it. What was that one item?
I think for me it would be I guess when I first started collecting, I went into a Power Ranger phase. So I started collecting a bunch of like the Funko items, and there was.
And he only got the Power Ranger because of me. Just so you know, I'm a huge Power Ranger person, and he decided to live on my fantasy and buy everything.
Like, you can't have them. I'll buy it myself. I got it. There's one pop. It's actually a White Ranger glow in the dark.
Nice.
Comic-Con piece. That one I paid for my own money because this was before the business. I paid around $700 for it.
Oh,
nice. Wow. Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
David, what about you?
So for me, definitely it's gonna be the autographed Jason David Frank original White Ranger pop that I got. The very first South Texas Comic Con I did with Fred. We were able to trade to that. That's kind of one of my favorite pieces, just because one, I'm a huge Power Ranger fan. Growing up, watching it before and after school because we didn't have cable or satellite, none of that fancy stuff, right?
Yeah, man.
We had the rabbit ears and then the aluminum foil. That was my hope to get the show. So that's one that I hold dear, and the next one is going to be the Beatles pops. That's something I've been collecting, the Yellow Submarine.
I love the Beatles, bro.
Yeah. So those are the two sets that I'm really. I mean, I'm still missing a couple of sets for the. I'm missing the Blue Mini for the Beatles, but that's something that I just, when I see, I tell Fred we're getting it. Like whether it's the company pay for it, I pay for it. We're getting it.
Someone's getting it. Either way, someone's getting it for me.
Nice.
And the last thing that we got to ask before we cut this up, we already got into an hour. I hope you guys feel pretty good about that. We don't want to take you guys too long. I know you have a thing you're going to go to.
You guys are breaking my heart. You guys are breaking my heart. I'm having so much fun, man.
I know. I have to ask, what are some tips and tricks for anybody that's getting into collecting right now? And what do you feel is the next momentum push for the items that you think people should be kind of investing in?
You want to go first?
Honestly, like tips and tricks, just stay kind of like stay relevant with the stuff. Look up what's coming up. Like right now, I know you guys talked about already She-Hulk. Kind of we use this term, it's called specking. You speculate what's going to go up in value. Like, anything She-Hulk is going to go up because new show's coming out. So we went out, we started buying multiple items of She-Hulk that are lower value that tends to go up. Majority is stuff like that. Just basically doing your research. Because if you don't do your research, you're going to end up buying a $1,000 collection of Star Wars thinking you made money, but you made $2 for each figure. But basically just researching the items, trial and error. And like we have a saying here, we say scared money makes no money.
I like it. Yes.
You got to take risks.
Guys, I got to say thank you very much for jumping on the show. We appreciate you guys for being here with us. Tell us real quick, what do we got coming up?
So this weekend on Sunday, we have the Spooktacular event. Our vendor night, we have 21 vendors now, right? We confirmed 21 vendors. It's going to be a great time. There's no admission to it. We have, different businesses, Neon Comics, Press Art Gaming, King Mike, some other local vendors that, have built a good reputation with the customer base to come sell here in the shop. It's free admission. Hopefully we see you guys. I know Chris will usually come and help us out. Definitely a lot of fun.
You got a brisket truck there. Of course I'm going to be there, man.
Yeah, that's one of the good wins, right? The food trucks. I
love it, man. I thought that was such a great addition to your guys' vendors. I mean, the vendor nights that you guys run are always super family based, very homely, very chilled. Everybody's super nice. The prices are very good. Like you can find some really great stuff. But the moment you added the guys that did the Speedo Papa, I was like, yo, this is next level shit. You know what a Speedo Papa is?
Wait, hold on. What kind of food are you guys having out there?
So beforehand, they used to have this thing called the Speedo Papa, which is the spiral potato on a stick. Have you ever seen that shit? Or no? Yeah. The ones that they do like at fairs and stuff, right?
Yep.
Well, now they got a whole ass Texas barbecue food truck coming with brisket and barbecue and the man, dude, coolest shit I've ever seen. And I've been in the Valley my whole life. Barbecue is what we do. This fucking dude showed up and he was putting beans, rice, briskets, sour cream, everything in a cup, in a big ass cup, and just eating it out of the cup. And I was blown the fuck away. I was like, I've never in my life seen this shit, and I want it so bad.
I'm sorry to cut you off. But fellas, he's saying that there's great brisket and great barbecue where he lives, right?
Amazing.
But when I go to
take his ass to Applebee's.
He takes me to Applebee's.
We went to Applebee's for dinner. I was like, man,
it pisses me off to no end when he describes the food out there. Because when I was out there, I got nothing of
that nature.
What's it called? If
I told him next time for sure. Like you've made so many friends on the podcast down here in South Texas. You made a really cool name for yourself that everyone's gonna make sure you get every type of food when you make it. When you get down here, everything's catered, man. Everything's catered. But guys, David, Fredrick, I appreciate you guys very much for jumping on the show. We know you guys got things to do. I've been looking at your cool ass gaming tower there, just shining in the back.
I was gonna say something about it, but like we've given them so many compliments. I'm not gonna give one about their fucking PC now. Okay, we got it. We got it. You guys are cool. You guys are cool.
I gotta say, man. Thank you guys for jumping in. We appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys Sunday for sure. Give you guys a shout out. Let people know where they can find you real quick, and let them know what's up.
You go ahead.
All right, guys. We are located. Can't really see it, but we're located in Edinburgh and Trenton and McCall. We're located in 3937 South McCall Road. It's the plaza. We got a Bourbon Street liquor store right next to us. Wendy's, the Walmart Plaza. Be sure to stop on by.
Brian's like in the liquor store.
Let's get lit. Let's get lit. Yeah, let's get lit.
You gotta.
They get a cool little discount if you ask for Fredrick.
That's true.
You get a family discount at the liquor store, man.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you guys. I'll see you guys Sunday, and we'll make sure we catch up with you guys a little bit later. So remember, guys, don't forget Sunday at the Collectors on the corner where Walmart and the Wendy's right there on Trenton. If you're from Edinburgh, Trenton and McCall, the plaza that's right behind Wendy's. Good ass fucking event coming Sunday night. Sunday evening, I would say, like Sunday afternoon. Yeah. It's going to be like a whole ass day. It's going to be cool. Food trucks, many vendors will be out there. Make sure you guys go check them out. Guys, we'll see you guys. Yeah, laters. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Brian, my dude, welcome back, everybody. We are back on the Nerd Talk conversation. Let's get it.
Let's do it.
So, Brian, tell me everything, man. It was cool. The guys from the Collectors, man, they dropped some fucking really cool knowledge. I appreciate them for coming on the show. That's some really cool shit, man.
The funny part is that like I knew I was going to enjoy that interview going in, but I actually enjoyed it more than I expected. That was a fun time.
Dude, super funny guys. They're super great to hang around with. Man, being at the shop with them during the week, it's hilarious. Okay. Like they're all characters. Tomorrow I'm gonna be out there with them. We're gonna be helping them film a commercial for their business. We're gonna be running a really cool media campaign for them to help them bring in more people.
Dope.
And like they said before, man, like they bring in a good amount of stuff already. So with the advertisement and everything they've been doing with the vendors nights, they brought a really good traction to their business, and we're just going to see if we can help them out just a little bit. Wanted to bring them on the show. They did fantastic, covered an hour,
Love
super easy, and what a fun fucking show, man. Fun fucking
man.
show.
Hell yeah.
So
Sir,
I gotta ask, Brian.
You gotta ask. You gotta ask. Have to ask.
Between you and me.
Yes.
And I'll add Rob in this because Rob's our boy too. And
Rob, my boy. Let's go.
You and Robert both had the opportunity to go see it. And I gotta ask, with all the stuff that everybody in the media has been talking about, I need to know your interpretation and your idea and your review on what you thought of your reaction to Black Adam.
The critics are playing around with my emotions now. Like, I gotta look this up, like where they're standing right now. Cause like, dude, so as of right now, the and just so the people that are listening, we are talking about the Black Adam movie. I got a chance to watch it, and Rob in the chat, he got a chance to watch it. Now, he saw before I did, and he was just talking this movie up a storm. And
yeah, he came in to the chat, right? Yeah, he was like, "Yo, I don't know what these people in the chat, in the comments, and in these people that are reviewing it, and critics are talking about. It was a good time."
But it wasn't just that though. It was the fact that he went like hard on that shit. Like he paused, and he definitely swayed my mind. Like, listen, Rob comes in all the time and says that he saw a movie because he sees every movie, but for some reason I'm like, you know what? The fact that the Rotten Tomato score is so low, he might be on to something here. It can't be that bad. I can't see. All right, one of the reasons why I went to go see this movie is because I am a Dwayne Johnson fan.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I will support him in the majority of the things that he does. I remember his first match in the WWE, and I've watched him since then.
Who's his dad? His dad's what? Rocky Maivia? That's his dad, right?
Yes. So it's kind of like I'm riding with him until the wheels fall off. Like I'm just a sucker for anything that he does. I will support anything that he does. And I was gonna check the movie out anyway. But then you're telling me that at this point, with all of his knowledge, all of his fandom, notoriety, that he puts out a movie that is going to get a 43% Rotten Tomato. Listen, a lot of his movies are bad, but none of them are 43% Rotten Tomato. And hold on. Not only that, but now with the backing and the money that Warner Brothers and New Line, this blew my mind. I'm watching the credits. New Line Cinemas was the production on this. So you can't tell me that The Rock, New Line Cinemas, and Warner Brothers are going to create a dud. That doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense. So I went to go watch the movie myself. And as of right now, the difference is just so astronomical. So the critics gave it a 43% Rotten Tomato, but the audience score is at an 88%. Sir, you have not seen this movie. You do say that you plan to see this movie. Yep. Explain that to me. Explain how there can be such a huge gap between the critics and the audience.
I'm going to raise that.
Shoot.
One more. I'm going to raise that more and ask you, how does that Rotten Tomato score be, what is it, 43 to 80?
43, correct.
But that movie sits under the Jungle Cruise at 63% and 92%. Like, you're literally going to tell me, like, I don't know.
So, all right.
Any interest in this movie?
Haven't. All right. Have you seen Jungle Cruise?
No, fuck no, I'm not going to watch
it. All right. So this is great.
Shit. I'm not going to watch that shit.
This makes this question even better. You haven't seen either one of those movies. Mm-mm. If you were to say, let's say you don't know the Rotten Tomato scores of either one of these movies.
Yeah.
But you were given the choice. The Rock in Jungle Cruise or The Rock in Black Adam.
Instantly go see Black Adam.
No. Which movie deserved, and you don't know, you haven't seen either one of these movies. which movie, if you were to take a guess, which movie got the 43 Rotten Tomato? Which one would you guess?
I would have assumed that it would be Jungle Cruise. There's
Exactly.
no way, because in my mind it's like, why would, I mean, I get it. The Rock's a funny guy. Like he's like Chris Pratt or Ryan Reynolds. There's moments where he knows how to hit his comedy hits. Like he can be funny. It's like Chris Helmsworth. But you're not going to see him in just a comedy. You want to see him in an action film because The Rock portrays himself to be an action movie star. Like the dude, you don't look for a movie without him being with something with action. Why would it be where a movie that's basically a comedy and him on a boat would beat out a movie where he's literally built for Black Adam?
Fucking tank. Tank.
And we talked about this, I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago, we talked about this and we were like, look, we're not going to Black Adam because I wanted an Academy Award winning Dwayne Johnson. I'm going to go see Black Adam because it's Black Adam playing The Rock. It's not The Rock playing Black Adam. Like I'm expecting this dude to rock bottom Hawkman. I'm expecting some fucking cars in the air. I'm expecting explosions. I'm expecting this dude to, like, in just the trailer alone, he melts a dude in his hands with just lightning.
Dude, and that was just the start.
100% what I'm asking.
This is like a non-spoiler, but I don't know how they got away with this movie not being rated R.
Rated R, I heard.
They did every fucking thing, and excuse my language, but they did every fucking thing to make this a borderline rated R movie. This is a rated R movie.
But would it be considered rated R because of the violence?
Yes.
Or just
yes.
Like cussing?
No,
or...
I can stop you right there. It's the violence. Like the deaths are gruesome and explicit.
Like The Boys or what? Almost.
That's a good question.
It's getting there, huh?
No, honestly, I think it's worse than The Boys.
Really? Holy shit!
There were some worse fatalities in this movie than The Boys.
Holy shit!
We're talking about like level 1,000 fatalities.
I like it.
This is basically, just think of an out of control Superman that has a disdain for humans.
He just doesn't like humans.
Yeah, that's sort of.
I mean, yeah.
I don't want to get, again, this is not a spoiler. I don't want to give away, but just envision an out of control Superman that has a disdain for a certain person.
Okay,
and that's what you're getting for 2.5 hours.
Okay, so this movie's 2.5 hours long. I thought it was gonna be like a Thor: Love and Thunder. I thought it was like a one and done.
All right, see, I don't like your attitude already.
No, because Thor: Love and Thunder was like an hour.
You don't have to say. Listen, I get it.
It's the only short superhero movie I know.
I get it.
Short superhero movie.
You don't like it. I get it.
I do not like Thor: Love and Thunder.
But staying on focus, listen. Go see this movie.
Definitely.
That 48% is not accurate.
Okay.
They have every angle covered. If you want action, within the first 10 minutes, the action has you hooked. 1,000%. And you and I can disagree all the time, but I think you will. I'm
probably gonna like this movie.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of like it's a dude movie. When I went into it, I kind of think like The Rock is like he's a dude actor. Like you don't look at him for like anything other than just being like in the movie Doom. Like you just think he's going to shoot some guns. He's going to talk some shit and he's going to look like a big motherfucker in a muscle shirt, like a muscle, And
he does.
For anything else.
Listen, I'm not going to confuse you. That's what you're going to get in this movie. You're getting Dwayne Johnson as a superhero. And it took me a while to get over that. I don't even think I ever got over that. Like every time I saw him on TV, that's what I saw. I saw Dwayne Johnson as
you just assume that Dwayne Johnson got powers for no reason.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just running through LA, just fucking everything up.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you just the most subtle thing, if he just would have pointed the ears.
So in that part, like that kind of like resonates. Like you're like, you know what? They could have done the pointy ears to make it look more like the comic.
But it was something so simple.
Like it's so subtle though.
Something
it's almost like a nitpick or something, right?
This movie is so good that something so subtle like that would have put it over the top for me.
I mean,
I just needed something to take me away from looking.
It just being The Rock.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just one little, even the littlest detail, and that movie would have been even more phenomenal than I think that it is now. It's a
So,
good.
so give us the rundown. Like, what is this movie about? Like, I mean, yeah, we understand it's Black Adam.
Okay.
The fuck out of some
Again,
dudes, like,
it's we talked a little bit about it off camera. The writing, I did not go into this movie thinking or caring much about the writing or the storytelling or whatever, but it actually has some decent depth to it. Like,
okay,
a lot of the critics' reviews were saying that there's no character building. That's bullshit. All this movie is character building, and not only that, but this honestly, this was the first movie outside of an Avengers movie where they're introducing 5 new characters, and they do it great.
like you feel like it was
Everybody had
their moment.
enough to get it across.
Okay,
And that is the breath of fresh air that everyone's talking about. That is rarely done. Like, that was great. You cared about everybody in the Justice Society. Everyone. You got I heard nothing but bad things about Hawkman.
Hawkman. Yeah,
He knocked it out the fucking park.
he did real good.
Yes. Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate knocked it out the park, bro.
But that's why you bring in a guy like that. That's why you bring in a heavy hitting name like that, because you're expecting for that guy to act. You know, we don't bring in The Rock because we want him to act. We bring in The Rock because we want to see someone get the people elbowed. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see some fucking crazy shit.
Dude,
the guy who plays Hawkman, I've seen him before in films, and I want to say
Aldous something. I can't remember. I want to
say he was in Supernatural.
He's been in a lot of things, and honestly, he did that is a great DC character. You can include Marvel in this. I haven't seen a movie in the past couple years where I said I would sit in the movies and watch it again.
Okay,
I can say that about this movie.
Rewatchability is very important.
If my friends come to me and say, "Hey, I haven't seen Black Adam. Do you want to come?"
You want to go?
I would say yes.
Dude, let's go.
I would say I will see that again.
See, now that to me sells more of a reason why I need to go see this movie. And the reason why is because we talked about this before during the heavy hitting films. We talked about the rewatchability. You know, would you rewatch the Batman? Would you rewatch the Doctor Strange 2 film? Or when we sat down and we took those opportunities to say, nah, you know what, fuck it. Maybe if I see it a second time, it'll make more sense.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't have to be that way. There's something about that type of mentality, like you said, like if someone was to tell me, I'll definitely go see this movie.
Yeah.
Because it was such a fun ride, or it was such a fun experience, or it was so funny or so witty that I think that joke works a second time and a third time
around. Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that I feel these superhero movies have been lacking in the last several years. It lacks the idea that the director or the person writing is writing with the idea of saying, hey, you know what? Like, I want for people to be able to come back and enjoy it the same way they did the first time. I just need to make it fun. I just need to make it a fun film. And I think DC, out of all the movies, has been needing a film like this to reestablish. And it sucks to say like that this is almost like a revamping for the DC universe after all the Snyder mentality and the Whedon mentality and all the stuff that's been going on, all the failures and the falls and all this stuff. It's cool to know that the old school formula of superhero films still works. Yeah. Just making a banger, making something where the superhero flies in, beats some shit up, a good guy shows up, fights him, a bigger bad guy shows up, everyone gets together, fights them, and then, you know, back to business, back to business.
Dude,
and I think it's so good.
I'm going to put it to you like this. This movie should have came out in the summer. This should have been a July 4th release.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Like, I felt weird having a hoodie on watching
during the cold weather.
Does that make sense?
It should have been a summer film.
This was a summer film, bro. But I understand it. I get it. Marvel owned the summer. I get it. But this was a summer movie, bro.
I wonder if the reason why, because it's been in the market for 8 years, man. This movie's been in the makes for 8 years.
Yeah.
And I wonder if the reason why is because Dwayne Johnson himself had so much like push into making it right. Because Dwayne Johnson's not gonna make, like I said, an Academy Award winning film, but he knows what entertainment is. Like, he listens to the fans. He's been doing it for years through his wrestling organizations and stuff. You know, even when he was wrestling, he would listen to the fans on what they would say in their blogs or on their social media accounts. And then like the next 2 weeks, he would come in and do a meme of something he read in a Reddit. And knowing exactly what the audience wanted, he brought it. And I think out of all the people in the DC landscape right now, he's the guy. And it's so weird to say. It's so weird to say that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson,
but you're not wrong,
is going to be the turning point of the DC universe.
So
like, the guy.
The two lesser, if you want to categorize everyone, all the super characters or whatever the characters, Adam, Rob in the comments put Atom Smasher and Cyclone. Those are the two lesser superheroes in this movie, and even they get some type of homage. Dude, this movie was honestly, I've never seen it. I think maybe Civil War. Okay. Civil War, where they had so much going on at one time and they made it make sense. But the only difference with this movie is that these are new characters. So that's like a whole nother level of difficulty that they stuck the landing on. Like, we're not supposed to care about Atom Smasher or Cyclone, but if something happened to one of these characters in this movie, you would care.
You'd feel it. Yeah, you would feel
this shit.
I gotta ask though, like, when it was all run and done, I know that we've had talks and discussions, and we've already seen it where we talked about it, the after credit scene or the post credit scene that everybody's talking about. Does it look like it's going to continue to stay forward going in the Snyderverse direction or the Whedonverse direction and that vice versa kind of action? Or is it going to be in that realm of world? Because the idea is like right now is it looks like it's almost run and done for Ezra Miller, right? And I know we've talked about this before, but it looks like it's going to go south. Again, the guy could not control himself. There's something mentally wrong with this cat. And there's a huge percentage of more than likely he's going to get locked up. And if he gets locked up, it looks like it's going to be for a while. A long fucking time. Which, again, I think it's well-deserved, man. He's already kind of run his muck, kidnapping all of Hawaii and then, just doing his thing. I mean, he has to stop. And if not, it's one of those things like he's a guy that actually needs some really fucked up help.
Yeah.
Good actor. Nothing wrong with him.
I love him as an actor.
Yeah. Like, dude, he was the best thing in Justice League. And I'll never take that from him. I'll never take that from him. He was like him and Jason Momoa's relationship in that movie was so funny. Anytime he interacted, like he knew his comedy, he knew what the character was about. I felt like he knew what it was. I felt like he understood it. He understood the objective. But through and through, the guy's just a horrible person. So it all caught up to him. It looks like it's going to be more than 20 years, 26 years. I really doubt it's going to be 26 years. Yeah, good faith, good everything. 7, maybe 10, but more than likely it's going to be like a 1-digit year.
I don't even see him.
You don't see him doing his jail time?
Yeah.
I think he will. I think he'll do a couple of months to like a year, maybe. Like I said, if he does get something, it's going to be like 5 to 7. But then after that, it's good behavior and he's out. But he won't be working in films for a long time.
Yeah, no.
He's pretty much done. Yeah. It'll be documentaries after this. So it looks like he's going to get recasted. It looks like it's very bleak for the idea of the Flash movie still coming out. They might have a horrible amount of reshoots to redo all of his scenes. But where do we go from here? Like, what did The Rock establish?
Okay, so this is what I wanted to say. You had brought up the post-credit scene. Now, I will not...
Yeah, that's fine.
I will not kill it for anybody because if you haven't, or if you've lived under
a rock,
if you lived under a rock, I won't spoil it for you. But I will say this though: no matter how many times you've heard what happens, it's better on TV, like on the screen. Like it lives up to the hype. And Amanda Waller, by the way, ladies and gentlemen,
I love her.
was she stole every scene that she
Every
was
time.
in
Every
this
time
movie.
she comes in, she's just such a phenom, man. I love Viola Davis.
I wish you saw this so we can get into like spoilers, but I won't. But you'll see what I'm talking about. Every time Amanda Waller is in the scene, Viola Davis, she steals the scene, and especially with the post-credit scene, she has something to do with that scene as well.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Spoilers. George is like,
Yeah,
spoilers, please.
yeah. The post-credit scene, no matter how much you've heard or you think you know about it, it's better when you see it. I promise you that.
I'm gonna dice this out there. Look, we'll dice it out there.
Okay.
If we get confirmation in the comment section to talk spoilers,
Okay.
put them in there, guys. If we get like 5, if we get 5 people to say we can talk spoilers.
No. I don't want. I don't want to. I like this movie so much that I don't want to spoil this for anybody.
Really? Oh
Like,
shit!
You should be able to experience this on your own. Because I went into this movie with very low.
George's like 5 times.
Times five. Times five.
He's like, tell me about it.
I would love to, but I want to actually have like conversations
A genuine.
with my brother Chris about it. So I'll wait for him to see it and formulate his own opinion, and then we can talk about it. But that post-credit scene was way better than I expected. And I basically knew line for line,
prior, right?
line for
Chris,
line,
close your eyes.
how this
Chris,
works
close your
out.
eyes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But the movie is good. It's good. It's a lot better than 48%. I promise you that.
Damn, that's crazy. I wonder what it is then. What is it that's giving it the 48%? Is it something that's like a political?
Now we're getting into where we could put our tinfoil hats on. This
Yeah.
I love to be here. I love to be here.
This is my favorite part.
This is my question. I wanted to ask you, but you stole my question. I wanted to ask you that question. Why do you think? Now I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong, and I could just be bubbling this movie up for no reason. But I kind of feel like I have a gauge on where your head's at, and I feel safe saying that you will put it higher than 43 or 48%, whatever the fuck it is.
Probably, man. If you're already calling it, I mean, you know me pretty well.
It's definitely above 50%. Yeah. I'm confident in saying that.
Yeah. I mean, straight through and through, like I'll tell you, from the trailers alone and just watching it.
Yeah.
Like I was a fan of the stupid Rock movies.
Yeah.
Like I'll watch those because I like the way he carries himself in film. I watch The Rock. Dude, I'll tell you. Worst film I've ever seen with The Rock is Southland Tales. Southland Tales. And I'm telling you, it's one of those movies that if you've never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Because it's the weirdest fucking movie on the planet. Weirdest fucking. It's weirder than that one movie where The Rock is like a bodybuilder with the Mark Wahlberg, and they're doing their like cons as bodybuilder guys. Remember? It's like, and then like he gets like his finger blown off or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
He plays a dumber version of that guy, but he's a police officer in this one. And I remember I was watching that movie and I was like, "What the fuck am I watching?" But it's so funny. I still have in my mind memorable scenes of him dropping lines and me being guy like that was funny. One of my favorite movies.
Wait, hold on. Let me ask you a question. What's your favorite Rock movie? What's your favorite Dwayne Johnson movie?
The one with Stifler, and Rosario Dawson, Christopher Walken.
Okay. Yeah.
That movie was stupid as fuck too, if you think about it. That was literally The Rock playing The Rock in the WWE in the middle of like Brazil.
That was the one with Christopher Walken, right?
Yeah. And they had the whip and he shoots the whip out of his hand, and Christopher Walken's like dropping
somebody in the comments. I know you guys know what the movie is. Let us know.
It's gonna be like Walking Tall or The Rundown. The Rundown.
So
that's
I'm sitting here.
Favorite Rock movies.
I want to say by the third act in this movie, I'm sitting there in my chair wondering what Rock movie is better than this, and I don't think I can come up with one.
Really? So it's up there.
Yeah. I don't think he has a better body of work. Maybe Jumanji, but that's with a bunch of
comedians
and things of that nature.
That movie's pretty funny.
Yeah. But being that like it's just him solo, or he has a support.
You mean it's better than Skyscraper, dude?
It's barely beating. No, Skyscraper is like the
It's
shit.
silly as fuck.
The drizzling shits, by the way. But no, like for me, this is by far his best movie that he's been in. And DC, and I'm going out on a limb. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go out on a limb now. As DCEU movies in the past 10, 15 years, this is probably top 7, top 8.
Okay. Yo, I have to ask though, do you feel like the vibe of this movie correlates with like the Shazam film?
No.
Like, at all?
But and it's so awesome. It 1000% correlates with the Shazam movie. They don't reference that character
directly, right? Yeah, they're not doing directly.
like directly. But in order for I will say this: in order for Black Adam to turn into Black Adam, he has to say Shazam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
So
they're part of the same universe.
So
Or
he
it's
has
come
to
out.
say Shazam to turn into Black Adam. And
Oh,
there's
wow.
multiple times where he has to say Shazam to turn into Black Adam in this movie.
That's badass. Does by chance does that actor that plays the wizard guy, the original Shazam wizard guy, come out?
Yes.
Okay, good shit. Good shit. I mean, I was hoping he was gonna come
doesn't
out.
he doesn't just come out. I'll even go as far as to say he has an action sequence. Like he's fighting.
Is he doing good?
Yeah.
That's good
Yeah.
shit.
He's
I'm
holding
I'm telling you, man. My thing is, we know eventually they're gonna meet Shazam. And I know for sure, like, there is a huge dynamic difference between what Billy Batson does with the powers and what a guy like Black Adam does with the powers.
Yeah.
In the film of this movie, Black Adam, did you feel in any way that Black Adam correlates with the idea of a character like Black Panther's character, where it's like the King Namor protecting his people? Or was it like that vibe, but way overboard?
I love that question only because it leads me into the narrative that I've been seeing, that it pulls from a lot of different like superhero movies and and IPs and things of that nature. I can see where someone would have that opinion, but where it changes for me is that even if you came to that conclusion, they did it in such a unique way that it doesn't even matter. We all saw in the previews where they had Hawkeye's mansion transform and it looked similar to the X-Men compound the X-Men school. So you were
the one that mentioned that the first time.
Yeah, so we all saw that, and even though it still does look like that in the movie, it kind of has its own, like, it's believable. Like you believe it, that Hawkeye his compound looks like that, and again, I can't wait until you see this movie so that we can actually dive into spoilers. But there's just a lot that's going on in this movie that, even if they did pull from a different movie, they made it their own. And that's what
did they go into any of the history of Hawkman or anything like
that? They did. All right, so they didn't go into a lot of the history of Hawkman.
Okay.
But they did touch on a lot of the history, obviously, on Black Adam.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the history on the place where he's from.
Condor. Yeah, Condor.
And the way that it's set up, that's all you need. But yet it's so weird to explain. They give you that, and then at the same time, they're giving you the history of the Justice Society, where you care about them.
Like the society itself.
You care about the society themselves. They're trying to protect a land from an evil entity that they don't know much about. And he's trying to protect that same space. So now, like, they're bumping heads. And Hawkeye is so prideful, and he's just not gonna bow down to fucking, I don't give a fuck if you're Black Adam, fuck off. Like, I'm Hawkman.
That's awesome.
And he's badass. They go at it. Like, I'm another spoiler. They go at it multiple times.
So okay, so that was the one thing that we worried about when we saw the trailer originally a couple months ago, that they just had it to where The Rock like literally just tanks him like every time. So they equalized it.
If you want to be honest about it, and I don't think I'm giving much away by saying this, but Hawkman is kind of OP, dude.
He's a pretty. I mean, we talked about it. I said he's a pretty strong individual, but I think power structure wise in the comics, like Black Adam would technically beat him, but Hawkman's like not a slouch though. And the trailer kind of made him look like a slouch, but
I'm talking about like multiple rounds standing toe to toe with Black Adam. Like he's kind of OP. Badass. Like he's kind of OP, bro. It's kind of wild to think about and to say out loud, but like no. And honestly, it might have to do with the fact that maybe Black Adam isn't trying to kill the man or whatever, but he goes toe to toe with them and he holds his own.
Well, the reason why too is because they gotta make sure that they don't like overbearingly make one character stronger than the other.
Yeah.
So that way, when you watch it, you're not like, oh no, this guy's gonna fucking do them all in. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they gotta give everybody their opportunity to shine. So that way, you're like, well, I don't know, man. I mean, he may not fight the same way, but he has a different set of skills that work a different way. Yeah. And it kind of makes you think of the game plan. It breaks down the idea of when you're watching superhero, like what are the fights, the battles or whatever between superheroes, and you're trying to like justify it.
Yeah.
Because if you break it down, Dr. Fate would fuck everything up.
Dr. Fate.
I don't say everyone, I say everything. The dude's a cosmic entity.
Rob said it the best in our group chat. Hogman and Dr. Fate by far steal their scenes. I don't know. I hate the fact that we can't talk about it the way that I want to talk about it, but Pierce Brosnan did a phenomenal job. That character was great.
So there has been talks that I've heard. You can tell me if this is true or not, Rob. You can tell us in the comment section also, that a lot of people are comparing Dr. Fate to Doctor Strange from the Marvel Universe. Is the power set real similar, or is it like, is there a good difference? Because Pierce Brosnan, the actor himself, was like, we love Doctor Strange. My kids and myself, when we watch the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like we love Doctor Strange. We think he's such a phenomenal character with the way he's charismatic and his charisma, being that it's Benedict Cumberbatch, being that he's a person from the UK also, speaking with a very like a dignified English accent, coming and being this amazing actor. He's like, I kind of want my Doctor Strange or my character to be similar in some ways, at least in the same dignified ways. Yeah. So like the way they carry
that right there was the perfect way to describe it.
So it's like a scholarish kind of guy.
It's like Rob says it in the comments, way fucking different.
Wow.
I could not agree more. I think the only similarities there is the fact that they are kind like in theory they are the same
style of character,
but you got Benedict in one hand and you have Pierce Brosnan. Like you're gonna get
they're two different actors.
They're two different method actors.
That's bullshit.
So that's the difference, and that is shown on the like Pierce Brosnan is what you see on the all of his acting attributes and talents that comes through on screen. So maybe somebody that's not really paying attention could be like, oh well, it's nothing but like a knockoff Doctor Strange. No, I would rather watch this version of a sorcerer. I would rather watch a Dr. Fate movie than a Doctor Strange movie.
Like a next part, right?
Exactly.
It just seems more interesting by right now.
It does. Yeah.
Dude, I have to ask though, because I talked to you about the Dr. Fate character, and I told you how in the comic books, the way that they lay out the rule set for his helmet and things like that.
His helmet is badass, by the way, bro.
Okay.
Holy shit.
That's awesome. But I have to ask though, like, is there like repercussions or like a dilemma that he struggles with the helmet in any way? Or
that's
is
his
it
whole
like
arc? That's his whole arc.
So there is like a dilemma. There is like some type of like a situation.
That's his arc. That's his arc.
Because that's what I was worried about. Remember I told you, because he takes it off casual and stuff like that, and I was like, well, that's really weird because Dr. Fate he's not allowed to take off his helmet in the comics because he has like this like pact with Dr. Fate, right? The character Nemu, or I forgot the god's name that's in it. And he's inside the helmet, and the moment he puts it on, he literally confines to the idea of being the avatar of Dr. Fate. And
no,
he's not allowed the opportunity.
He's possessed. Basically, once he puts the helmet on, he's possessed.
Yeah.
And this movie does a phenomenal job portraying that.
Okay,
like they do a great job portraying that this is no longer the Pierce Brosnan Dr. Fate. This is a totally different fucking character.
And he doesn't fuck around.
And he doesn't fuck around.
Yeah,
bro.
he doesn't fuck around. Now, the crazy thing is, the reason why I ask is because the dilemma part, Dr. Fate doesn't allow him to take the helmet off ever. I know that in the story, in the movie, it's a little bit different. He
takes it off at will. He takes it off.
And the reason why it's super crazy is because there's just really interesting story. Like in the original story of Dr. Fate, I think like the second iteration of him, Zatanna, which is this magician guy who has a daughter also named Zatanna. He takes the role of Dr. Fate. And only one time a year does Nebu, the god of Dr. Fate's helmet, allow him to take the helmet off for like an hour just to tell his daughter happy birthday and let him talk to her.
Okay.
After that, that's it. He puts the helmet back on the whole year, but he only gets that one moment with his daughter, and that's it.
Yeah.
So like that's the thing. Like that's a very.
But I mean, you're paying for Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, you're paying for Pierce Bronson. Yeah.
You're gonna show a lot of his face on this one, yeah.
But you can see where like that would add so dynamically to the idea of the character, right? Like you're heartfelt. You could be like, damn, dude. Like, can you imagine like being an avatar for this helmet and never being able to take that bitch off, but like only like one time to see your kid for an hour? That's all this dude's giving you, and you're like that for the rest of your life. So like it does dynamically build like a really heartfelt story, and it builds more. I think it builds more for Zatanna, the daughter, because then you just build off of her dealing with her father as this like tyrannical magician dude going around fucking doing some David Carradine shit that's wild as fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would build more for a Zatanna character. But so through and through, we see that Rotten Tomato gives it about a 48, 47.
48, yeah.
And we're looking at the audience score of being like
they give it. I want to be accurate about this because this is going to change. We're going to revisit this conversation next week when you watch the movie.
Yeah.
Right now, on record, it's at 43% from the critics and 88% from the audience.
Damn, that's wild, man.
I think even by the time that we speak about it next week, it'll be a higher audience score. I'm banking on that, by the way. And I wanted to get to Vince because Vince always comes through with the interesting questions,
really badass questions,
whatever. So he asked the question: who could win, Dr. Fate or Doctor Strange? I am going to ask that I can answer that next week when Chris sees this movie because I won't have a debate about that.
Yeah, I mean, I can take a pop at it right now. My guess would probably be Doctor Fate. But it all determines.
I would say Doctor Strange. I would still say. Listen, don't get it twisted. Doctor Strange is kind of OP in the.
Yeah, he's OP also. But there's different versions of him that you have to remember. There's one of them that goes to the black market where he sells his soul.
He sells his soul.
Yeah, you remember we talked about that, right?
Yeah,
Planet Hulk or Robo Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sells his soul, and he's like the strongest fucking version of himself. But it's like a one and done. He gets it for like an hour and a half before his soul like completely gets removed.
Yeah.
So it's it changes. And Dr. Fate, the difference is that Doctor Strange has to borrow his powers from gods.
Yeah.
Where Dr. Fate, when he puts the helmet on, he literally is the god that he is.
And not only that, but Doctor Strange can see the future and manipulate it.
Yeah.
Dr. Fate can see the future, but can't
he
really manipulate it. It has to play out. It's fate. That's why his name is Dr. Fate. Because it's just it is what it is. Like I'm assuming there have been instances where he does manipulate shit, but everything.
I think he has to go to others to manipulate it. Like
To
he'll go to like
manipulate it, yeah.
Constantine, or he'll go to Detective Monkey, which is this like random, like literally chimpanzee that owns a bar like in the outer skirts of the cosmic entities. And like just random people show up to this bar and they just drink, and he's just literally the best detective in the DC universe. It's the equivalence to Howard the Duck. Like equivalent to Howard the Duck, but it's just chimpanzee. The only other person I can think is of, I mean, his daughter Zatanna. Or yeah, that's it. I mean,
and they even have like in this movie, they even have like human characters that they build on. They actually had time to not only build these 6-7
superheroes, yeah.
But they actually have like the fucking Shia
The
LaBeouf characters. Yeah, like the Shia LaBeouf in the fucking Transformers movies. They have those human characters.
That's pretty cool.
They can build too. Bro.
I do like that format when it comes to these kind of films, because what it does is it grounds the superhero into being like at least having his humanity. You know what I mean? Because he kind of like he'll cater to those people. Like if I'm not mistaken, I haven't seen the film, but he probably like caters to like the 3 or 4 regular normal people and walks around with them, and you know will hang out in their house or drink or eat ice cream like Wonder Woman kind of things, right? And it adds for like this really cool comedy.
Yeah, but I don't want you to think like it's that like cuddly and friendly. It's not like that. It's like
because he's a dick.
Yeah, he's a dick. So it's like
he still thinks he rules everybody.
Yeah.
He still thinks he's a king. Yeah. He thinks they're like, peasants and shit.
Think of anti-hero at its finest. Like he's literally only on the side of good because he kind of has to be. That's it. He's not a nice guy. You're not gonna love him.
Brian. You got cut. Oh, there you are.
You hear me?
I heard you. Yeah, you got cut right there. You're right when you said anti-hero.
Yeah, no, but he's definitely a anti-hero. Like that's what he is.
Is by any chance, and I'm just reaching here, is there any reference to Darkseid?
No.
Not at all? Like at all?
No.
What was the villain like?
The villain,
was it Sabal or Sabu or
it
something?
was. Since you said it, I wasn't gonna say
that's
it.
fine. He's in the trailers. I don't know much about him.
Yeah,
just know he's like a big demon. That's all.
He's basically the underworld version of Black Adam. He's because Black Adam more or less is the collection of all the elder wizards coming together and bestowing this god level ability to one person. And just imagine the 6 realms of evil, all the devils coming together, putting together into one guy.
That's pretty cool. I never even thought of that.
That's what basically this was. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
More like a Hell Shazam.
There was a part of me that was thinking, I mean, it was a shot in the dark. But that Darkseid, if they were going to do something like Darkseid was going to try to get a version of all the villains, like the League of Villains.
Yeah.
Like he was going to assemble them to fight the Justice League. And Shazam was going to be their like Superman antithesis.
Okay.
That's what I was kind of assuming. And then that's why there was that rumor about the post-credit scene, and then it ended up being true. And there was a part of me that thought that they were going to kind of run with the Darkseid thing.
The post-credit scene has nothing
to do with that.
With anything. It's just a fucking, and again, excuse my language, it's just a fucking badass fucking scene, bro.
That's awesome.
It's a badass fucking
excited
scene.
For like a sequel?
Absolutely.
Cool. So that kind of gives us like recognition to like the old school films, like the Avengers when they first popped off, and you know, Nick Fury came out at the end, and you were just like, dude, I need to see the next movie. I need it. Is that the way you kind of felt after seeing that?
If it gives me, all right, so if it leads to a Superman and Black Adam movie where they're fighting the majority of the time, how much money do you want? Like,
are you ready for it or what?
Are you kidding me? Yo, they did such a good job establishing how OP Black Adam is. I would watch Batman versus Superman Part 2, which is basically what this would be. I would watch that and I would pay any amount of money.
Legit.
Black Adam is O fucking P, bro. And I would love to see him fight Superman. 1,000.
Well, I must say, before we go on, remember, if you guys are out there and you do want to see something like that, there is an animated film that I feel might be the next direction it's going, which is Superman, Shazam versus Black Adam. This one's a little bit more the animated. This is if you haven't seen it, it's on HBO Max. It's super good. And what it is it's literally Black Adam going after Billy first. And then Superman shows up and he's like, "What's up?" It's super funny.
I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off, but I just want you to understand, like, they are changing this character. Like, that character is not what you're gonna get in this movie.
Have you seen this one yet?
I've seen it, actually. I've seen it.
It's
this
good,
character,
man.
this guy's a dick. Like, he's an asshole. Yeah. But this one is like The Rock trying to be a bad guy, but like
But you can tell he's got a heart of gold.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's got the heart of gold.
It's one of those. I don't want to like get it confused.
Dude, man, there are so many great fight scenes between these three characters. And the reason why there's this series, and I want to say it's like the DC version of like Earth X, and I can't remember, and I'll remember the series. But in the very end, it's Shazam beating the living shit out of Superman.
Yeah.
And Superman cannot beat him. Like, Superman cannot beat Shazam Billy Batson. Like, the reason why is because Superman is allergic to kryptonite. Not kryptonite, but magic.
Yeah.
Magic does the exact same thing to him that kryptonite does. And both of these dudes are just magic. But they're as strong as Superman with magic. That's like, it's the worst thing.
They're conjured by wizards. Like,
dude, it's so
powers
good.
Are from wizards.
It's so good. That is such a great series. And in my mind, I kind of feel like there's a part of me that thinks, like, in the next film, if it's true, like, we get this, like, this introduction of like Superman versus Black Adam in the next film, I think that's going to be a part. But then at the very mid of the film, like, Shazam's going to be like, "Oh, but Superman's my friend. I need to go help." And that's what's going to get Shazam to show up and do this battle, all three of them banging. And I really think it would be a great setup to get that series going on.
I read a lot about the fact that The Rock made it. He basically went out of his way to make sure that Shazam was not incorporated or mentioned in this movie.
He wants to establish himself.
And I think that's a mistake. That's a mistake. Yeah, 1,000. You're basically, at this point, you're even pulling characters from the Shazam movie and putting them in. The wizard that bestowed the powers to Billy Billy is in this movie. So when I see him, what movie am I thinking about?
Shazam.
So for you to not at least
mention
or have a nod to Shazam was a failure.
By chance, when he's fighting the wizard, like, does the wizard ever say something like, "Well, you think you're the best, but there's another,"
no.
or like never
mentions? There's
anything?
Literally no mention of Shazam.
Wow, that is pretty
in this movie whatsoever.
It's a missing opportunity.
I honestly think so.
Yeah, well, you're right, man. I think so too. So give us the run and done. You and Rob, since you guys have seen it.
This is a 8.5 out of 10 for me.
8 out of 10.
8.5.
8.5. Goddamn.
I'm gonna see it again. Like, I have not rewatched a superhero movie,
and that's
in
out
years.
of desire. That's out of straight desire.
Like,
that you
I want to see this. Like, if a group of friends came to me and said, "Hey, we're gonna go see Black Adam. We haven't seen it yet. Do you want to go?" And I would say 1,000%. I would see the movie.
Goddamn, that is so cool. I have to go get this fucking movie done. 9 out of 9 or 8. I thought Robert said 9 out of 8. I was like, what the fuck? He says he gives it a 9 or an 8. So I'm guessing an 8.5, about the same range. What a good call for this movie, man. I can't wait. I'm excited. I think you and I both said it, that we didn't really think The Rock was going to be the saving grace of the DC universe, but to hear that you're giving it such a high call, knowing that when you first were talking about it, you were kind of like, I'm not going into it thinking it's going to be like the fucking best thing then since fucking the Q-tip or sliced bread.
Yeah.
And then here we are a day later and you're like, no, this was fucking good. This was real fucking good. All right. I'm going to give it a chance. I have to give it a really, really good chance, guys. Thank you so much for reviewing it. I appreciate you guys for it. That makes me more excited. On to the next subject. But in between, I got to ask, Brian.
Shoot.
Did you see the new trailer for Wakanda Forever?
Okay. Before we get into that, right? I did mean to bring something up about this movie and the movie experience I had today.
Okay.
And it goes all the way back to the previews of this movie. How excited are you for Avatar 2?
Not really. I mean, just on the idea of what it looks like, it looks cool, but I really don't know what the story's about. So
I don't know if it was because I was in like the Dolby IMAX.
Oh shit! You saw
studio.
the trailer and it blew you out.
I don't know what it was, bro. But I might be on board, bro.
For the Avatar 2 movie? Dude, you shit on me so hard.
Listen, I was shitting on it.
Yeah, because it's been so long.
Dude, I watched the trailer today, and again, I don't know whether it's because my chair was vibrating the right way. I don't know what the fuck it was.
You were in the 4D or what?
Dude, I might be on board.
Holy shit. I mean, the Avatar movie, I mean, James Cameron cannot go wrong.
I think all I need is just like a rewatch of the first Avatar, and I might be on board, bro.
Holy shit, man. You know what? Like, I think the Avatar movie is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think it was a great original idea.
It was ahead of its time. Yeah, it was like ahead of its time. Yeah.
I remember seeing that movie multiple fucking times, a bunch of times. With the vibrance of the film, the color schemes of certain shots, you know, the thrilling adventure that's during the whole film, it brought me back to like the way storytelling was back in the 90s and 80s when it came to big blockbuster films.
Yeah.
And then to know that James Cameron is coming back to make a second iteration of this, not following any other type of franchise, just based on his own thing, very tribal, you know, a lot of blue colors, now dealing with ocean themed, where he just sold me the goddamn forest in the first movie. I'm sold, man. You know, you look at any kind of movie you look at the first movie and there's like vibrant pinks and blues and neon colors and purples and like just glow in the dark shit everywhere. Yeah. And then someone goes, oh, now we're going to put in the ocean. And most of the fucking scenes are just beautiful, crystal clear blue water. And it's going to have some flying shit like Top Gun, but just birds and shit. I'm like, God damn it. I'm about this. And then you fucking tell me that you're going to bring the badass Marine guy from the first movie back in the second movie, knowing that dude was like universally one of the coolest villain, bad guy, badass dudes I've seen in a long motherfucking time since Terminator, since fucking Aliens, the movie, the original one.
Yeah.
And then you say he's going to come in this movie? I was sold on that.
I'm telling you, I saw the trailer today, and I said,
damn,
I probably just need to watch the original, which is one time, and I'm on board.
Damn, that's awesome. So there was something about it this time that caught you?
I don't know what it was. Again, I have no fucking clue what it was. But I may be on board, bro.
Dude, you know what? Maybe it was just the excitement. Like being in the theater.
Maybe.
And maybe reestablishing that idea of what
talk me off this ledge before I spend $20 to see this whack ass fucking movie.
And watch it suck.
And watch it be ass.
Watch it fucking be trash, dude. No, I mean James Cameron, like I said, like the guy's an amazing film director. Like he literally makes art pieces. Yeah. Like that's why I don't see like there's any way to go wrong. Plus, there's really nothing to go off of it. You can't be like, oh, that's like no DC. That's like, you don't know what the fuck's happening. The first movie, the only thing I could literally connect it to was Fern Gully, and that movie was bad fucking ass, man. That scared the shit out of me when that fucking big ass skeleton shit came out of the truck, and he was singing the song, and he's all oil and shit. I was like, this movie fucked me up as a kid. but it was and Tone Loc was in it.
Tone Loc was it.
Remember Tone Loc was the iguana or some shit?
Yes.
The movie itself was just really good, and that's what.
Who would ever thought that Tone Loc would have been a great voice actor?
Voice actor for a kids cartoon.
That's crazy.
Funky Cole Medina, dude, that's the guy right there. Yeah, but straight man, yo, that makes me pretty happy because now I know that you'll probably be out there with me wanting to go watch the movie, and then we can talk about it. I thought I was gonna have to go see that shit by myself and then have to sell it to you.
Nah, dude, I had some extra time. I had some extra time to kill today, and I was like, you know what? Rob talked it up.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, let's go. And again, I will always support Dwayne Johnson no matter what.
Yeah.
That's
you know what's cool? I think Rob said it before. I think the Black Adam film actually takes place right before.
I don't know. Film. I know that it's after all of the so it's established. Again, I'm trying to figure out how to say this without giving too much away, but I know for a fact that in this timeline, the Justice League is established.
Yes.
Everyone in the Justice League is established.
Yeah, so I think it's before before Shazam 2.
Yeah.
So it's going to be between Shazam 1 and Shazam 2. We got Heather in the comment section. Good to hear from you, Heather. I hope the Rocky Horror Picture Show is going awesome at the Casino Ray, and I hope you guys are doing awesome. Seeing pictures. You guys look legit and awesome as usual. She says, legit was not excited to see the first one because the trailer didn't sell it for me. I walked out of the theater absolutely amazed and happy to see a second because the insane doubt I had about the first Avatar movie. Church, that's preach it, man. I mean, it was one of those things like we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into in the first movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. To me,
no, I'll listen. I'm gonna create a little bit of pushback because I think we did. I think we all knew, especially at that time, James Cameron's name had a lot of buzz.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of push, like
it's still a lot of push. Right? You know, we kind of knew what we were doing.
You know, the two, I'll even tell you straight up, the two things that sold it for me was Sigourney Weaver and Mex. That was it.
Okay. Yeah.
That was literally it. I just remember the Mex. And the reason why I was so sold for the Mex was because of the third Matrix movie.
Okay.
Because you remember at the ending of the Matrix movie and they're in Zion and they have the big ass robots and shit. That's 100% what reminded me of like, oh shit, like, they literally look like the mechs from that movie. I'll go check it out. But the big blue aliens and them creating like in the idea of like them naming Avatar the movie because the whole thing is about Marines using these organic beings as avatars. I was kind of like, it's just like playing a video game, but the Marines are doing it. It's just gonna be like an aliens movie. So I just thought it was gonna be a run and gun. I didn't expect for it to be like an Academy Award-winning blockbuster film with an amazing script. I was not prepared for that. I wasn't prepared for the religious aspect. I wasn't prepared for the girl that plays Nebula. What's her name? Zoe Deschanel. Zoe Saldana, right?
So wait, hold on. Let me ask you a question. So you all right. So you say you weren't prepared for like the whole like political aspect or that, and honestly, it's kind of like your own interpretation of it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Did it deter you from how you felt about the movie? Like, did it sway you or persuade you to not like it as much, or what was that like?
For me, it's one of those things. Like in that part, I won't lie. I'm a big fan of just straight action movies.
Yeah.
Like I don't really care too much of the story. I care about the stunt.
Okay.
Right. So if you were to put me in a situation and be like, hey man, we're going to watch The Rundown or we're going to watch Prometheus, I'm probably going to pick The Rundown.
What?
I'm not even kidding. I'm not even, but this is
me.
This is just me. This is just me. I'm telling you. The reason I'm telling you
over Prometheus.
You're asking me. This is the type of person I am because
wait, first off, before you continue, do you understand how great I hold Prometheus?
Oh no, I know. That's why I mentioned that because I know you're a big fan of it. But
okay.
The reason why is I'm just using that as using it as an example. I literally love both of those movies, but Prometheus.
You're treading on light water on. No,
I'm just speaking on my thing. If I was to sit down and watch the film, I me, I'm gonna watch a Jackie Chan film over anything. I'm gonna watch a beatdown movie with some explosions over anything. I'll watch that just to see Christopher Walken drop some one-liners at the end of that movie that don't make any sense, just because it's just a movie.
Yeah.
Just for the experience and the vibe and the feeling, just to see some cool visuals. The Prometheus story is one of them that I have to sit down and I have to pay attention to. I have to really, really give it my focus and my attention. Where the action movies to me is I can play them and I can cook at the same time, or I can play them and I can draw at the same time. It helps my mind.
I just can't believe
busy. No, I'm just telling you like the way my vibe is. Bro. But I've seen all of these movies, but the type of person that I am. So like with this movie of Black Adam,
yeah,
like it's gonna be right down my alley.
No, I know it is. I know.
You know what I mean? Like, so that's my thing, and I'm not afraid to admit it. So if you were to tell me, hey man, I have Pride and Prejudice, or I have the movie The Avatar, I'm probably gonna watch Avatar. You know, that's just me because it's more of like a drama. It's more of like a political timepiece. It's too much effort for me. I just want to be involved in something. I just want to see some explosions. I want to get super crazy. You know what I mean? For me, it's one of those things like I like action cinema for action cinema. That's probably my number one genre of film that I like over everything else. Mm-hmm. Avatar to me, when they were getting into like the military and destroying the environment and all that stuff, I was kind of like, oh, James Cameron, like it was like Titanic, right? Like, oh fuck, like it's gonna be like a romance movie. It's gonna be 2 CDs, DVDs worth of a film. I remember Titanic was 2 DVDs. Do you remember that shit?
No, I never bought. I never bought Titanic. I've seen Titanic like 3 times in the movie theaters, but I never owned the.
It was like 4 VHSs.
No, that was 2. You know, I'm lying. It was a 2 VHS. I remember that. Because I did see that it was like a 2 VHS, a dual VHS, and I thought that was interesting. I just remember the VHS as being a dual VHS. I do remember that though. That was a long fucking movie. That was like a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, it was, and it was good. It was great. There's nothing wrong with Titanic the movie either. It's just that for me, when I saw that, Avatar was very like. If I did not click with the idea that, of course, Sigourney Weaver was in a futuristic alien movie again, I probably wouldn't have been on it. But the moment I saw that a film was pushing the idea of people being in mechs, I was sold. 100% sold. Because you never got that in any other cinema.
Mechs, what is it about? What is about mechs with you, bro? Like
it's
you love
so
mechs.
Cool. You don't think like the idea of like.
But you've seen it. We've seen mechs in so. I've seen mechs since the 80s, bro.
What are you talking about? Like what is that one?
Gundam. We've seen Gundam Wing. We've seen fucking
no, but that's
Power
anime.
Rangers.
That's anime, and that's cool.
We've seen Power Rangers. We've seen mechs all like since the 80s and 90s.
And that's always a cool ass thing to see in films.
True.
And you know what I mean? And then seeing that someone who made something like James Cameron, the guy who made Titanic, is doing a movie and it's got mechs in it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's not going to write no fucking Power Ranger script. You know, that shit's going to be like, it's going to be well written.
Yeah.
There was just things that just caught my eye. It was gorgeous. The animal, the way that they created the design for like the jaguar creature, the way that they designed the raptor looking flying creatures, all that stuff was just super amazing. And then the visual of the city in the forest at night. The colors, it was almost like a Neo Tokyo Blade Runner color scheme.
Yeah,
that was gorgeous to me. Like that was just straight gorgeous to me. So for them to make a second film and it'd be about water and ocean and shit, you know, there's going to be a scene. You already know it. There's going to be a scene where they're like super underwater and everything is like dark blue, and you're going to have just a bunch of creatures with like glowing. Just lights everywhere, and he's going to create a whole world we've never seen before. And I'll tell you what fucking sold me also in that film, Michelle Rodriguez as a pilot and being a badass female, and then her flying around Pangea, and they get to that part where all the cliffs are all in the air, like they're mountaintops, but they're just floating. I don't know if you remember that. Like she's like aviating around just a bunch of weird like cliffs that are just like suspended in the sky.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was like, I've never seen that on television before in my life on a screen. And that looks gorgeous. Like it looks gorgeous. Just the environment building that James Cameron did. Like that's got to be one of my biggest things is I'm excited for the environment building that James Cameron's going to produce.
Well, again, that's what he's used to. He's used to these big budget world building type of movies. And again, I was not looking forward to seeing this movie at all.
Yeah, I remember you were like,
I was shitting all over it. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you brought up a good point where you were like, I don't know, man, maybe it's just been too long.
I know
Maybe
it's 1000%. So I think like if I saw or if I rewatched the original movie, I might, you know.
I don't know, man, but I'll tell you what. I vouch that I think the movie still stands the test of time.
Okay.
If you were to play it, it's probably going to be just as good as anything that's coming out right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think you should totally rewatch it. You know what that?
No,
you know
I
what?
probably will.
That totally reminds me. We gotta strike on our a D23 YouTube video out of nowhere, and I think it was because of the trailers.
What?
We gotta figure that out.
Yo, we made it.
Yeah,
No,
we made
that
it,
means
bro.
we made it,
We
bro.
gotta strike.
We gotta strike, bro.
So I think we gotta strike because we played the audio from D23. We just gotta figure
What
it out
did they
because
say?
nah, it was just that we showed something that we didn't own the rights to. So I'm guessing my thing is I think we saw something and played it like through and through, and they just flagged it for us like watching it like through and through.
So out of all the fucking trailers
Marvel
that
out
we've
to
been
get us,
fucking,
man.
they got the D23 thing that was probably the most
was only one.
streamed. Well, listen to what I'm saying. We have been streaming trailers for a while now.
Yeah,
And
like 3 months.
out of all the things that you got flagged for,
D23.
it was the most streamed and reproduced,
hating.
streamed thing that's on the fucking planet.
Marvel hating, man.
Everyone was streaming about D23 when that shit came out, bro. Everyone.
And the reason why I wanted to talk about that was because I wanted to stream the new trailer for Black Panther. The Wakanda Forever trailer that just dropped.
Well, I mean, bro, you already got one strike, so I mean, buddy.
You're like, hey, man. I mean, I ain't giving you no bad flavor.
Listen,
but
I'm just saying it's cool to get one. All right, it's cool to get one.
How cool would it be to get two? Yo, but have you guys? I gotta ask. Have you guys had the opportunity to see the new trailer?
Yeah, I have.
I
saw it today. It's playing. It's funny enough. It's playing before Black Adam.
It looks awesome. Like,
But it always looked. I'm telling you, and I hope you guys are ready. This movie is going
highest grossing film.
It's going to.
It's gonna break.
I'm listening. I'm sitting there in the crowd today. Now I went at a 2 p.m. viewing, and it wasn't sold out. But it had a lot of people in this movie at 2 p.m. on a Friday afternoon. They played the Black Panther trailer. And you got like that feeling after that trailer was done, like, yeah, November 11th.
Yeah, we're gonna go see that shit. Everybody was saying
she's gonna be
that shit.
She's gonna be lit. Yeah. November 11th, it's gonna be lit. Like,
and I also have to say too that Creed 3 looks fucking golden, dude. The trailer for that was a perfect fucking trailer.
I'm gonna support it just knowing that is Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut. I think that's his first directional. Yeah, he's directing this movie,
dude. The trailer is fucking phenomenal, man.
And you have Jonathan Majors. You have Kang. You have fucking Kang as the fucking the guy.
And he looks like a fucking animal, dude.
Tank.
He is huge, man. He's huge. He's huge. I hope he's that big as Kang in the other movie. Like, I hope he gained that weight and did roles. Like, I hope he did the role that size. Because the moment he kind of like bulks out like that at Ant-Man dies. The Wasp leaves him. You know what I mean? Like, it's all gonna fail for him at that moment.
He probably leaves him for Kang and shit.
Yeah. Ant-Man leaves Wasp for Kang. It's not even the other way around. Have y'all seen the future Marvel timeline? And if so, thoughts?
Yes.
Future Marvel timeline. Oh,
So,
you're talking about like into the next phases?
Like the next phases. I'm
Next
assuming that's what
phases.
she's saying.
There's a lot of things to look forward to.
1000%.
I think the number one thing to look forward to is, of course, Secret Wars. I think Secret Wars is probably the number one thing because that's going to be the solidifying factor for all the different franchises coming together back. That'll be the revamp and the reboot for the Marvel universe again. That'll be where it all comes together. We have our mutants. We have our every hero that we've ever wanted is going to be a part of that factor. Minus, of course, Universal with the Hulk, which we are going to get some type of Hulk story coming up, which they're going to try to like fix the ramifications of that, deal gone bad.
Yo, I hope they fucking just somehow, some way, just sell to Marvel, bro. Like enough is enough.
Yeah, I think
enough is enough.
It's just that, dude, Universal knows they're making money.
You have nothing besides Fast and Furious and the Hulk, and you guys can't. You guys
have Harry Potter, dude.
Universal.
Universal is Harry Potter,
but they're not doing anything with that IP though.
No, well, they're about to release that big ass video game, the open world one, which I mean, it's something.
They're not even doing anything with it. They're not doing anything with that IP. You have
what do they need to do? Like Harry Potter itself is such a fucking. I mean,
all right. So then don't let the Hulk die over there with you guys. Sell him off and fucking call it a day, bro.
I think it's one of those things like when you have the actor himself, like throwing shade at the company who owns the character, like you're doing something messy.
How many more Fast and Furiouses are there in the world? Like how many more?
48, dude. The last one's gonna be them in the nursing home.
Okay, let me rephrase that. How many more?
We all know that.
Let me know. Tell me how many more profitable Fast and Furious movies they got.
Did you see the last one?
Yeah, I saw it. They were in fucking space, bro.
Dude,
they were in space, bro. I was watching like Black Ass Tyrese and Ludacris floating in space. Where do we go from there? Tell me, please.
You put them on a space station and they have a literal like space mission.
I'm done.
Come on, you can't tell me that's not something to look forward to.
No,
you're gonna see Tyrese on the space station.
No.
What if they get to Mars and race?
They were in a car, by the way. They didn't die. They didn't die from like asphyxiation or all the shit that we learned about in science class in the middle school and high school. What would happen to you?
Forgot the golden Iron Man rule.
all the laws of physics ceased to be present in the world of the Fast and the Furious. They were floating in a fucking car in space.
What happens?
Someone make that make sense to me.
But what happens? Like, how do they get up there and how do they get back down? I haven't seen it. So I don't know. Like, I don't even know how they got into space.
They had like a rocket attached to the car, and they were able to rocket their way back to space. I don't know. They were stuck in space. They were dead, basically. They were stuck in space. Mid mission. They were stuck in space and couldn't get back.
And the way they saved him,
they rocket
Vin
themselves.
Diesel with a shotgun. He had it
family.
Up and shooting himself into space.
It's all about family. Yeah,
it's all about family. He's just shooting the ground.
Exactly.
He's just fucking popping up in the air. He grabs them and brings them back down.
They're full blown superheroes at this point, bro.
Man, you know what was really, really crazy? They had Tony Jaa in one of the films.
Bow Wow was in that movie.
Little Bow Wow was there too.
Bow Wow was in that movie. Actually, that sequence where Bow Wow was trying to test out the car, because they went through like.
Are we talking Little Bow Wow, like the Hulk SUV he had in Tokyo Drift? Little Bow Wow?
Yeah.
Same character?
He comes back in this movie. Basically, everyone. All right. So what they tried to do was they tried to make a callback to all of the Fast and Furious and put it into this last one. And Bow Wow was in this movie, and the said car that was floating in outer space was tested upon by Bow Wow and the white dude that was in the Tokyo Drift. He came back in this movie
also?
Yeah.
The white guy's in this movie?
Yes.
What the fuck? I didn't even know they brought these dudes back.
Yes. They brought him back
too. I know that Han came back.
And everybody came back, bro.
The dude that died came back.
Everyone came back, bro.
I don't know what to believe anymore. Yeah. I'm so confused with life.
So the white guy from Tokyo Drift was in this movie.
Now I have to go watch it. This horrible. You made me want to now go watch this movie to see how it all makes sense. Did Gal Gadot come back?
It's a total mind fuck, bro.
It's a total shit show. That's what it is. Not a mind
Total
fuck
mind
shit show.
fuck. Yeah.
All right. Oh no, this is bad.
Wait, no, I don't think Gal Gadot was
Nah,
in
she
the
died.
movie. Yeah, I don't think.
She died in the other one. Remember, she got
but
ran over.
but everyone else was in this fucking movie though.
Was The Rock's not in it?
Yeah, I guess not The Rock. Well, because The Rock and Vin Diesel, they don't really.
Is Christopher Walken in this movie?
No.
That'd be cool though.
I'm sorry.
Should be Samuel Jackson should be in this movie. It's about time they put him in one of these films. You could totally see him in this fucking film.
There was a lot of people in this movie.
But he's got to come in as Shaft.
Wow.
He's got to come in as Shaft. That would be the fucking bomb, dude.
That's gonna lie.
That fucking Fast and Furious. Can you imagine? We talked Avatar to Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, no, that's what we do.
Can you imagine that segue? That's what we do.
Okay, so everyone that's listening and everyone that's watching, we were talking in pre-production, and I'll lift the curtain back, if you don't mind, Chris. I'll lift the curtain back a little bit.
Pull the veil.
I'll pull the veil back, right, a little bit. So we were trying to figure out what after we had the interview.
The Collectors, guys.
We were trying to figure out what we were going to talk about for the next 2 hours, and I'm like, bro, we're just gonna talk about whatever the fuck we want, and it'll be entertaining, and that's what that's our pre-production. Like, we don't have a format. We don't have a format to this at all. Like, it's just
what makes this amazing, guys. Yeah. If you were to see what goes on behind the scenes, you'd be like, how the fuck?
Like, how does this work? Yeah,
how do you have 100 episodes of this?
How does this work?
This shit?
Yeah, we
do a 3-hour show based on just the randomest parts written down, and we do it like 15 minutes before. Cheers. Man, we're good.
Cheers.
We're good.
So we do.
So we got straight up Black Adam gets an 8. So for sure we're gonna get that one.
Thumbs up.
Now it gets to the crazy conversation.
Okay.
This is gonna be where it all falls apart.
Oh, this is where we argue.
This is gonna be where it gets we're gonna play good cop, bad cop.
Okay.
So Brian was not with us last Friday. We had Michael Betancourt on the show.
Yes, thank you, Mike.
But Michael Betancourt and I had a discussion. It wasn't like a disagreement. We both collaborated in the idea. We both had our points, but we talked about the season finale of She-Hulk.
Yes.
Out of Michael Betancourt and myself, I didn't like the show as much because I felt that it was lost in the idea of building a character that had the potential to be bigger, and they needed to build on her character. That's just mine. Michael Betancourt said it was cool because it was a fun little ride and it had comedy. But he did have his gripes and he did have his moments where it was like pros and cons. But out of all of us, out of me, Michael, and Brian's been the one that's been, you've dug this show since the first episode. Through and through 100%. So Brian, the floor is yours. I need to have a solid review from you for She-Hulk. I need your point of view across this.
All right. Again, in pre-production, I said to you, listen, I listened to the podcast and I loved it. I love what you and Mike bring to the table when you guys have a topic and you guys are just, headstrong on it. But I totally disagree with both of your points on She-Hulk. I think that, all right, this is what I think. I think that the writers and the creators had an agenda, and I think they met it. And I don't want to say exploit, but they painted the picture of what they were trying to do very clear to me. Now, the only other thing that's clear to me is that whoever's job it was to put it together failed.
It was a little messy.
It was very messy.
Yeah,
I'll give you that. Like you asked me earlier, what's my con about She-Hulk? That's what it is. It's put together very messy. But the intent is there, and you get that. Like the heart and soul of the show, it's there. Listen, whenever you can give me a show where I can just relax and just enjoy and kick my feet up and not give a fuck and be so critical about it, I love those type of shows.
Okay.
Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, like these are shows where I don't have any expectations because these aren't the most beloved characters. Like, there's no, you can't be too critical. Even the most critical of comic book fans, you can't be too critical about this because no one's checking for She-Hulk, no one's checking for Miss Marvel. So just have fun with it. Like, just have fun with it. And if you just have fun with it, you love it. I loved it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So, like, okay, I gotta ask you, between all the 8 or 9 episodes, I believe.
Yeah.
What was the one that stuck out the most? Like the one that you really, really were like, dude, that episode really resonated with me. And then out of all the 9 episodes, which is the one that it was your least favorite?
I liked the first episode.
Okay.
I liked the first episode. Oddly enough, when it came to Miss Marvel, like the first episode, you remember how like the styling of Miss Marvel's first episode was compared to how it was at the end.
Oh yeah.
Remember how
like
it was so different?
man.
Where it was like
creepy.
it was like graphics here when someone would say a word.
It was very fun and colorful and playful in the first one.
And
then the last one felt
end,
like it was trying to be in the MCU.
Exactly. I feel like the same thing happened in this show as well.
Okay.
Like they took a tone in the beginning and then it just kind of dissipated towards the end.
Do you think that was intentional? Like that was supposed to be like the growth of the character, but as the show itself, that from it being the first episode, you know, a kind of a comedy driven, very silly, very one-off thing to the very end being like a serious rendition and it trying to go comic booky? Or do you feel like that was unintentional?
Because I had my main character hit the home button and skip through the Disney Plus app. That was amazing.
That was pretty funny.
That was fucking awesome.
You know what? I'm probably I don't know how to explain this, but I kind of feel like the fourth wall breaking didn't have to be every episode.
But it wasn't.
I felt like 1 or 2, 3 times that would have been okay. And then at the end, you had the big one, which was cool. But I feel like since every episode did a fourth wall break, I felt like it was like, okay, cool. They're just going to break the fourth wall.
And see, the way I look at it is like all those little ones build up to this. Like this was like the volcano erupting. Like the fourth wall breaks were leading up to her hitting the home button and skipping through with that they literally spent 20-25 minutes of her living through the fourth wall. Like it was weird.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen anything like that. Like I haven't, like that's beyond Deadpool we're talking about at this point. Like that was wild. They actually had the writer of the show as a writer of the fucking show. Like the only thing that was missing from that episode was actually having Kevin Feige as Kevin in the show. That was it. If you would have given, listen, this is how close you know they were. Because if I say to you, if Kevin Feige turns up in that episode, what do you rate this? I would be pressed to find someone to say that episode was not an 8-9 at that point.
Oh, like you, it would have jumped the gun for you. It would have been it would have been way higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he would have made an appearance, yeah, I mean that would have been.
But like you get a robotic version. All right, you get a 7, 6.5 to some people. I love that episode. I love the fact that Kevin Feige, and it's so funny because like that is the egotistical shit that you can't have Kevin Feige there, so you make him as a statistical robot.
Yeah, well, in the process of it too, he's a Nexus being, which is very similar to what the Loki show talks about, like in the timeline, like someone that kind of controls that. It would be, I mean, technically, yeah, it would be like a Kevin Feige, but it's like a cosmic being.
You have the jokes. You had the jokes where he was like, "I only put up the movies, and then I let the fans decide
if they're good or not. Which ones are good or not."
It's commentary again. It's going along with it, the theme of the show. But it's like making fun of what they actually do. That show is genius on the low, as far as I'm concerned. Like that show is genius. Like they love making fun of themselves and making fun of the climate, the culture, whatever. I love it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. For me, it's
What was your problem? Tell me. Let's just.
So my
What
thing
was your
is
issue?
that they wasted a lot of time and money on not establishing a character that needs to be established.
What was
Like,
not
it's like,
established? What
okay,
was
look,
not
watch.
established?
I think you said it earlier yourself when you said, well, she's not one of the mains. Like, she's not one of the main characters. Like, if I talk to you about Captain America, you can name Captain America stuff. If I ask you about Ant-Man, you can probably name some Ant-Man people. But if I say, okay, Brian, name me 3 She-Hulk villains, just 3, that's going to be hard as fuck. The reason why is because the character...
In the show or just in general?
Just in general. Like, in general,
Okay.
name me 3 comic book characters from She-Hulk that you know are her established villains.
But let me ask you a question.
That would be a hard question.
All right. Would it be as hard after watching the show though? Like,
yes.
All right. So you think I would not, after watching this season, I would not be able to give you 3 villains from this show?
Okay, I'll ask you one solid question.
Yes.
Because the character was through and through the series.
Yeah.
How did Titania get her powers?
Wasn't it a Titania show?
No, that's not what I'm asking, though. I understand it's not her show, but it is established that she is.
As a viewer, as a viewer, why would I care? All right, I get that. As a viewer, why would I? Especially the way that this is set up. Like, I guess it's on a case by case basis. I guess if I want to preface this answer, this is the She-Hulk show, and the way that they're formatted, they're introducing mad characters that don't have a backstory. So, no, it doesn't make a difference to me.
I mean, Titania is one of her major villains.
But she's not the only villain in the show, and she's not the only one that doesn't have a backstory. They all don't have backstories because it's about She-Hulk.
Well, yeah, I mean, the story is about She-Hulk. We understand that. But the thing is,
why would I
she's
care?
established in the very first episode, breaking a pretty big law.
Yo, and honestly, she got more backstory than anybody else in the show. You understand? She's Titania. She's an influencer. She's got her own line of perfumes and shit, and she's vindictive. She got character development. She's got character development. Don't do that. Like, she got more character. She got more character development than like 90% of the characters in that show. So that was a bad example.
We're establishing that the one character that we still don't have at least some type of origin story for has the most establishment out of all the characters in the show.
We don't have an origin story doesn't mean we don't have character development. You're telling me that all right. So what you're telling me is that because we don't have an origin story, Titania had no character development in that show.
I mean, literally the only thing that she had that was establishing that she had any development was the show literally saying she has a brand, she sells perfume, she's vindictive, but there is no reasoning for why she attacked this character in the first place.
It's because she's a brat. She's a brat. She's a brat. Because she's a brat, Los Angeles socialite with superpowers, and she's acting like it. If you were to think of a socialite LA superhero or super character, how would they act? Titania.
I mean, I guess it's just one of those things. Like, there's not enough backstory for that character for me to be like, oh, that was her purpose. That was her reason. That was like right now, you saw Black Adam. You 100% know why Black Adam's the way he is. Because they gave you some type of origin.
It's a Black Adam movie, though. This wasn't a Titania story, though.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Even with that, but you know the backstory of Sabal, the villain in Black Adam. You know a little bit of his backstory. You know the reason why he is the reason why he is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not his story, but you know that because you need to give the audience some type of.
I think you're pulling hairs here. Like that is totally different from a 2.5-hour movie, as opposed to an episodic show where you can't focus yourself on Titania. Like you can't.
Okay, so I get it. Like you're saying, like I'm nitpicking on that one character.
Yes.
What do we know about She-Hulk? I mean, what do we know now that she's going to establish herself?
What don't we know? What don't we know about her? I feel as though I know so much that I need to ask you, what don't we know about her to make this make sense to me? What don't we know about her?
Okay, I'll break it down a little bit more simpler. If the character of the Hulks, and this is just in general, without it just being about her.
Yeah.
If that story does not revolve around people trying to steal their godly power of strength,
okay,
what is a reason of them having her in a story if that's not the only purpose? I get that they were like, oh, but this is like the super soldier serum or whatever.
Yeah.
But what other purpose do you solve for having a Hulk character that anyone would want to go against? That is like the leading story in those characters. That is the main purpose. Like,
there's another Hulk that wants to go against him.
Yeah, I guarantee that the reason why the blood story is adequate right now is because that's going to lead us into the Red Hulk storyline. I guarantee this is where they get it from. They don't get it from Banner. They're going to get it from this chick.
Okay.
But at the end of the story, they literally say, well, what the fuck? Like, erase the whole blood story. Like, I don't want it to be that because it's stupid. And then the character of Kevin's like, okay, cool. We deleted the blood story. So the guy's arrested at the end for no reason. Titania's there literally for no reason. Like, all of those characters are done there at the end of it.
So the whole
So they deleted the blood story.
The whole last episode is kind of a throwaway.
Yeah, it's like a whole throwaway episode.
It's a whole throwaway episode, but I like the balls for that, though. I like the balls it took to do that.
I thought it was witty. I mean, it was witty. It's interesting because, like you said, it's kind of never been done before.
That was a very ballsy finale for a Disney Plus show, and I like it. I mean,
like there's no problem with that. There's no problem with people liking the show. Like, I don't have a problem with people liking the show. In fact, if people like this show, that's great. If this reaches a whole other demographic of person who doesn't watch the show,
I don't mind if you don't like the show. I don't mind if you don't like the show, but the hate on that last episode, you're crazy.
I'm not really hating on the last episode.
It starts off, first off, with a tribute to the original fucking Hulk show, which I grew up on and I remember watching as a fucking kid. That was fucking amazing to me. That episode could have done no wrong in my eyes after that opening sequence. I'm sorry.
No, that's true. I mean, I told you, I think I would have watched the whole last season of that just because it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it was fucking
it's crazy.
Awesome.
It's wild as shit. Yeah, and like I said, like, if this is, I get it. Like, if there's that idea of it's for another demographic. Or it's for another type of person. That's
all right. So you said that
I'm kind of slowly not understanding that.
Yeah, because you said it a couple times. What demographic does that correlate to? Because obviously I'm a part of it.
No, I don't know, because every time I watch this show and I'm like, I didn't really dig it. Someone's like, oh, you're not the audience. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I'm the guy who kept this company alive when it was failing. I am the audience, but I guess I'm not the audience right now in history. Which is going to be like, I don't know who they're aiming for. Like, what is the audience of this crowd? That's been one of the biggest things, because it's the idea of, like, we watched Miss Marvel. And I told you on the first episode, I was like, I mean, it was cute, but I didn't get it. And you were like, well, you're not the demographic. You're not the audience. And I was like, oh, I mean, I ran with it because I figured it out. I mean, you said it and then we explained it and then we went and I went and objectively went and saw videos of other people reacting. And then I saw children reacting to it and them saying they loved it. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, maybe this is right. Maybe I'm not the audience. But why would you think a company would isolate an entire demographic of other people to reach a small niche of people when the money is at grabbing everyone?
I'm going to say right now.
Okay.
Because it's Marvel. Marvel has a section for everyone.
Well, yeah. No, I get that.
If you feel excluded, and that's why I love what they're doing, they're taking chances at this point. They're so ahead, and they're so ahead of the market that they're willing to take. They can start isolating shows and isolating movies. They're at that point where they can do that, and we're gonna watch it regardless. You watch shit anyway.
Yeah, because we're content creators.
not only that, but we have been on this 10, 11-year journey with them this entire time. So
right now, I'm not really sold on the second season. And right now, I don't really know if She-Hulk's getting a second season. I haven't really heard of it or been it up in the air.
you wouldn't
But
watch a second season.
If they were going to say they're going to make a second season right now, I'm not going to watch it the way that I did now, which is like I'm not going to wait, for the first night it drops to check it out. Okay. I'm going to probably be like, I'll probably watch it next week, or I'm going to let it go.
Listen,
because I really dig
people in the chat and comments, all that means you got to read between the lines. All that means is that he'll watch it the second day or third day or whatever. Like,
yeah, I'm going to watch it later on. I'm not going to be as rushed as I am right now. But what should we expect for a second season?
I expect more of the same. I think it's going to be a lawyer show that's in its own. It wasn't even
a lawyer show. She had a horrible lawyer. She was a shit lawyer, dude.
That's debatable, but I'm saying it's going to be a lawyer show, and I think that it'll be. They'll lean onto like the cameos, and that's what they are. They are the social response to what's going on in the world, and they're gonna make fun at themselves as a show, and I love that for them as a show.
Like, did you like it as I guess would you say would it be like a new variation of like a comedy forte for like the social kind of commentary? Like, would it be like a new age comedy for it?
No, because that means, it's weird. I love the question you asked, but that means that they would have to take themselves that seriously. The show does not take themselves that seriously. Like, they're going to poke fun at themselves and at the commentary that they know they're going to get for this show, and leave it at that. They're not going to get too one way or the other, if that makes any sense. Like, yes, the female empowerment or the female perspective was driven in this show 1000%. But so what? They don't have many shows where they do that. So why? I love that shit. They made fucking fun of us before we had a chance to make fun of the show. Do you understand how fucking smart that is? As writers and creators, how smart that is to do before it happens to you.
But it's so easy to catch that because we know the social commentary on those subjects right now. Like, even before it's written out, like, there's going to be a dicey amount of YouTube video guys that are like, yo, the female character sucks. Yo, this and that. Those guys are always there. That's like this. Those are the loudest voices that are speaking for these films right now. I guarantee there's a moment right now that those type of commentaries are talking shit about the Black Adam movie. I guarantee they're the same ones that are out there doing the same thing. If not,
what properties in the MCU have women as the lead?
A-Force.
No. Movies, the MCU.
Like
shows or movies.
Has female leads?
Yes.
Like in any situation leads or what? Like,
you understand what I'm trying to say? Just answer the question.
No, I don't understand.
What properties in the MCU have female leads? It's a very simple question.
Like, as the main character.
As leads. What does that mean? Okay, Captain Marvel.
I mean, that's probably going to be the only one that I can remember off the top of my head. But if you're talking strong female characters or supporting characters, it's the majority of them. Black Widow plays one of the most.
I didn't say supporting.
Crucial.
I said I said leading. That's important.
Probably going to be just
that's
one
important.
Of them. I mean, Miss Marvel herself. You have the new Hawkeye, Kate Bishop. Those are all not supporting. They're all main characters. Elena Belovovich in the new Black Widow film. Black Widow itself was just a female-driven film, including Taskmaster herself. Okay. The idea is not the necessity of needing more female characters just leading films. It's the idea of making, because we've had strong female characters. Throughout history, we've had them.
We've had strong supporting female characters. We haven't had.
You're talking about
leading. I'm asking you.
That's the change right now in the MCU.
In the 10 to 15 years of the MCU, just MCU specifically, how many leading female characters have we had? in the last 10 to 15 years, you could probably use one hand.
Well, yeah, most definitely.
So what I'm saying is when you're saying who is it speaking to, it's speaking to a demographic that they haven't been able to that needs it. That needs to have that representation in the MCU that's been around for the last 15 years that only has a handful of representation. That's who they're speaking to. So yes, if it means that we don't understand it, then so the fuck what?
So you agree with me that there should be more females that are represented correctly in film or
No,
in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
What I'm saying is that
Strong women that are represented.
No, what I'm saying is that when I see a show that is women empowered, I don't question who is this for, because I know who this is for. I'm not saying this isn't for me. I know this is not for me. Miss Marvel was not supposed to be for me. That's supposed to be for somebody younger than me that comes from that comes from
That culture, the demographic.
I know who that's for. And being the fact that I'm able to understand that, I can enjoy it as I'm supposed to enjoy it. She-Hulk, same thing. It's not for me. I'm fine with that. And I love it. That's the reason why I have fun with it. It's because it's like, yes, we have representation from all angles now. Like, we have a representation from everyone. Everyone's represented. Everyone has a fucking voice. Everyone, dude, they're even making fun about the shit over there, bro. Like, they're having fun with it over there. I love that shit, bro.
But we've had that representation in the comic book world. Through and through the representation.
Let's have more.
My problem with that was always the over-sexualization of female characters in unrealistic ways. So the idea was the audience was, at that time, young boys, adults drawing females in very feminine ways to get young readers more adapted to those characters.
Yeah.
Same thing. She-Hulk was an eye candy character back in the day. I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to bullshit it. And I was against that. I thought it was one of those things that I didn't think the characters needed to be oversold with huge boobs and a huge ass. I think it just needed to be written correctly because the character herself had the power to carry a franchise. Because like you said, females need more stronger characters represented correctly.
Mm-hmm.
My argument amongst this show is this was the opportunity for them to fix all of that shit from back in the day. And they did. They brought in a more, less, the character was not over-sexualized. The actress herself, was not this awkwardly put character that was just out there wearing, bikinis and tight skirts and pencil dresses. She just dressed it casual. And I think the idea of them writing and script and commentary that they were having trouble finding clothing was objectively a point to the story also. My thing is, I felt this was the opportunity for them to right their wrongs from the past, because the idea is, like you said, like the females need more proper representation. And all the stuff that they're fixing nowadays for comic books and what wasn't represented was because the franchises and all this market was run by white people way back in the day. And all they did was write these characters in. And that's why the majority of characters are ethnically pushed characters. You have a very small handful of characters that were either supporting or sidekick characters that nowadays are being pushed to the forefront. And I think nowadays they have the potential to fix all of that problem from back in the day. What they did with She-Hulk, I may disagree with it, but I know that there was people that liked it. And I can appreciate that. And I can show them comic books where I'm like, hey, you might want to reference this because this is kind of like what they wrote. Like the thing that you were talking about where you liked that they broke the fourth wall and ran into writers and directors and all that stuff. There was a lot of comic books that did that back in the day. And the one that I told Michael Betancourt really resonated with me was the Fantastic Four thing from the Fantastic Four dies in a comic book and Reed Richards goes in the multiverse to find God to bring back Ben Grimm. And he ends up finding a universe where Jack Kirby, who, of course, everybody knows Jack Kirby as one of the number, him and Stan Lee were the ones that practically created the entire Marvel universe. And they actually run into
Jack Kirby,
Jack Kirby is one of the creators of course, this. Stop picking on me, man. But, it's very cool. Like, it was a cool, interesting fourth wall break. It really was. And it was a cool opportunity for them to try. And I think it was very witty. And I give them that nod of the head, like, hey man, good shot. Did they need to remove 100% of the action from the ending? I don't think so. I really wish we had something because we've already been deprived of Hulk action in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
In fact, the last 2 films of the MCU were very, very depraving for the Hulk character. And then for them to kind of rush over the Planet Hulk storyline, for them to just introduce Scar at the end of the story, and it'd be like, oh, well, Bruce just left 2 days ago, and now here he is with his son. Kind of makes me worried a little bit that they're going to kind of gloss over the Planet Hulk story and make it more about that the Hulk was like an absentee father, and now he's going to have to make this kid like fall in love with him or be his dad, or I don't know. It's very weird.
I honestly think that when everybody realizes that when Bruce leaves to Sakaar and whatever he is doing in the time span of the She-Hulk series, that is going to be the World War Hulk movie. Like when he's gone and he's on Sakaar, that's our movie. Once we realize that, that's gonna be like, oh god damn it, like that makes sense. That's great.
I think that's going to be more based on the Planet Hulk story. Like when he goes back is going to be when he's going to have a little bit of turmoil because you're going to get that idea of what happened to the kingdom of Sakaar after the Grand Master's collapse.
Yeah.
And I think the World War Hulk story comes off of the idea of the news that we heard, which we haven't been able to talk about, but Harrison Ford coming in as Thunderbolt Ross, and they're going to establish that the blood from this series is going to be the one that they synthesize to create the Red Hulk. And it's going to end up being where the Red Hulk goes around and is just a menace, destroying things, and the Hulk is going to have to come back. And when he comes back, it's going to be them two kind of like boom, boom, boom. And while they're fighting is when it's going to be the planet, the world breaker part. Like they're going to be breaking the world, fighting each other. I think that would be very, very interesting.
1000%.
Yeah, 1000. So I got to ask, and I know
shoot.
I have to ask. What would be your rating for the last episode and the entire season overall? And what's the rewatchability play for it to you?
I'm gonna go 8 and 8, and
Very
nothing besides Black Adam has my rewatchability.
That's a
radar
for Black Adam, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, like I would never revisit She-Hulk. I got it. I like it. I don't need to. It's got its holes in it, bro.
Oh yeah, I mean it does.
Don't let me revisit it. So,
but at the same time, I think we can clearly say that Phase 4 is kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the MCU.
But Phase 4 is not done yet.
Yeah, once we get to Black Panther, I think it's going to be a whole flip, dude.
Phase 4 is not done yet, so why don't we wait till November 11th? We'll see how shit pans out with that.
I think Black Panther flips it, and I think it's one of the best films. I'm telling you, it's going to be probably the best thing. I know it's one of those things that they're going to just be like, yo, we need a home run.
Yeah.
We need a home run. No more of this, whatever it is that these artists are doing with the filming, and they think they're bigger than the franchise. They ran, Sam Raimi did his thing. These people did their thing.
I
need you to give it me up.
I wish I could fast forward to that Monday after November 11th, so I would know what that number is. Because
after the trailer, can we pretty much say that it's Shuri behind the Black Panther?
I mean, we don't know.
Yeah, because I there's a part of me that thinks it's the girlfriend.
We don't know.
Yeah, I think it's the girlfriend, man. But I think there's gonna be multiple Black Panthers.
So this is the thing, right? There's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna watch this movie just anyway.
Yep.
What if there's like some wild shit in this to make you want to watch it like multiple times?
I guarantee it. I have a really strong feeling the post-credit scene is going to have Dr. Doom. I think that by itself will make you rewatch it. And in the new trailer, there's a part where Shuri and her mom are kind of like with the spears, and they're like, I see that they've got vibranium everywhere.
I said it months ago.
I don't think that's Namor.
Months ago. I just want you guys to be ready for this, because this is going to be something you guys have never seen
that
before.
Scene, when they're both like that, they're very chill and relaxed. They're not like wearing anything of garb of armor. I think that's either Riri Williams in her Ironheart outfit, completed in vibranium, and that's why she's like, "Yo, that's 100% vibranium," and she's landing and she doesn't know who it is. And the other person it's Dr. Doom, and he's like got his whole metal ass outfit and it's all vibranium.
No, he's 1000% in the post credit scene.
I 1,000,000% believe it.
I wholeheartedly believe that.
I think he's going to be one of the major antithesis for the Secret Wars movie. I feel it right now.
But
I think he steals Kang's power.
Yeah, no, I just last thing about this, like the regular movie, the Black Panther movie had everybody in it, and it was like top 10 all-time grossing domestic, which is wild.
Mm-hmm.
You have the added storyline of Black Panther really being dead and what's gonna happen, and is Shuri gonna be the Black Panther? Is M'Baku gonna be the fucking Black?
There's so much going on.
There's a lot going.
There's a fuckload going on,
and you're introducing the Namor and the Mexican heritage, dude, bro.
There's a shitload going on.
There's a lot going on in this movie, bro.
You know what sold me in this past trailer alone is that there is a scene. Well, if one, we hear the menacing voice of Namor say, "Your king isn't here, and Wakanda will fall." So we get to hear his voice, and it doesn't sound too bad. It sounds pretty fucking cool. But we see that M'Baku comes up behind Namor and hits him with something, and he just kind of like picks his arm up, and it just shatters. Which 100% to me was like, yo, he's gonna be like super fucking strong, which is like his mutant ability of being like a fucking animal, man.
I heard he's
abnormally strong.
I heard he's like super OP.
Like, dude, he can fight the Hulk. Like one-on-one, he can throw down with the Hulk like at a normal pace. Yeah. Like if you get like a World Breaker Hulk or like a fucking crazy rage out, like, nah, dude, he's fucking everybody else. Yeah. But like Namor, like through and through, like he's a slobber knocker, dude. He can bang with the best, man. Yeah. Like Thanos bang. So it's pretty cool. Like for him, that's the only thing is like we saw that he could fly. He has his wings. I was like, all right, cool. Like, but is he gonna be strong? And for M'Baku to try to whap him with something and it break over his arm and him act like a shit, that makes me like, holy fuck, dude, we're gonna get some fucking crazy shit. Everybody in the comment section, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. What did you guys think of She-Hulk? We got to ask you last week, but after hearing Brian's review, what did you guys think? Let us know.
Do the right thing, guys.
Hit us in the DM. Hit us in our DMs during the week. Do the right thing. Agree it's an 8 out of 8. 10 out of 10. Fuck it. 10 out of 10. Guys, we want to say thank you to our extraordinary listeners. Thank you guys, girls and gals, for tuning in. We appreciate every one of you. Again, thank you to the collectors, David and Fredrick, for jumping in the comments or jumping in the show today and dropping some really, really cool knowledge. Guys, don't forget Sunday this week on the corner of Trenton and McCall in Edinburgh. That's where the collector store is. They're going to be having an outdoor vendors night during the day, about 12 till about 6, 7 o'clock. Guys, go check it out. We're always there. Vince Weaver asks in the comment section real quick, did we get to see Andor? I haven't seen the last episode, but I have been watching the series. It's pretty good. It's a fresh breath of air for the Star Wars universe. It's not too, a bunch of action, a bunch of bullshit. It's very cool paced, makes it feel very cinematic and like a film. Very, very anticipated. I like what I see. I can't wait to finish it. Also watching Rings of Power. We're going to hopefully, I know you haven't been able to see it. You're not really a big person on the Lord of the Rings series anymore, not as much. But we will have Michael Betancourt back on the show sooner or later when he's got some time. We will be talking about the Lord of the Rings Ring of Power show. We'll be talking, of course, some of the backlash and all that stuff, but our own personal opinions, not really being, drifted by any other people's commentary or whatnot. We're going to give our opinions. But we want to say thank you guys very much for tuning on the show. We appreciate every one of you guys. Thank you for tuning in every Friday here night with us with the Average Boys Podcast. Don't forget to like us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, you name it, anywhere you listen to a podcast show, even on Spreaker. And in fact, don't forget, we also have a YouTube channel, which you got our first strike on, which means you got to help us out. You got to help us subscribe. You got to go help us check it out. And again, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate every one of you guys. We will see you again next week here on the show, the Average Boys Podcast, every Friday night. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a good weekend.
Peace.